CoffeeZilla has taken down everything from billion-dollar frauds to viral meme scams. Among this, he has exposed some of the most deplorable scams and creators on YouTube. I'm the Internet Anarchist, and today we'll be diving into the worst YouTubers and YouTube scams exposed by CoffeeZilla. And it all starts with Techlead. If you thought a former Google engineer and million subscriber YouTuber would be smart enough to not scam his own audience, you'd be dead wrong. Techlead, aka Patrick Xu, started his YouTube journey in 2016. He focused his videos on his experience as a Google employee. However, his connection to YouTube was deeper than most, since he was the tech lead for YouTube's iPhone app. Back then, Patrick gave his viewers a unique glimpse into life at a prestigious tech company through his day in a life videos.
Cool things about working at Google is that you have access to every one of their offices in the world. I'll see coworkers taking a trip, maybe to New York or to some other country. So let's check it out. I wanted to show it to you guys.
And he offered technical advice on which programming languages aspiring software engineers should learn to enhance their skills.
The most important thing is to always keep learning. Here's the key answer. Think of the companies that you want to work for and go to their jobs website and look up what requirements they're asking for.
While the majority of Patrick's content was professional in nature, there were times when he didn't take himself too seriously and showed a more jovial side.
The feedback has been fairly negative up to this point. Are you sure you want to waste my time with this? I just want to make sure that we're using our time productively. I value your time. What is this supposed to be here?
Patrick's unparalleled insight into the tech world, deadpan demeanor, and occasional comedic outbursts drew viewers in by the tens of thousands. Some looked to him as a useful resource for furthering their tech careers, while others simply enjoyed his strange mannerisms on camera. But the unifying factor behind the community Patrick built was his simple yet unorthodox approach to tech content. Unfortunately, Patrick's time as a Google employee would come to an end sometime in 2017. Which later forced him to find employment at Facebook in May of 2018. However, due to reasons that will be made clear later in the video, Patrick would be fired from Facebook a little over a year later. Out of a job and stripped from the titles that once defined him, Patrick was forced to seek other revenue sources and decided his YouTube community was his best bet. He was very aware of the impact his content had on aspiring engineers and sought to monetize his audience in every way possible. Despite no longer having his prestigious job title at Google, that didn't stop him from using it to boost his various marketing efforts. Patrick started by enlisting all his early vlogs and began selling the first season for $20.
When I first started making my YouTube channel, I talked about all sorts of different topics, and later on I would take down these videos.
While there was technically nothing wrong with him monetizing his old catalog, this would serve as the first step in Techlead's journey to squeeze every single penny out of his viewers. In the following months, Techlead shifted his content from purely educational to marketing videos geared towards showing off how wealthy he was as a software developer. A key indicator of this shift in priorities was the addition of "as a millionaire" in the title of his videos and the promotion of different training programs in the description of his videos. Back then, no one had thought twice about Patrick's ever-increasing push to monetize his viewers, since he had built up a reputation as a down-to-earth engineer with his prior vlogs. Sadly, Patrick's reputation was about to take a turn for the worse, as someone in this community decided to take a closer look at what exactly he was promoting. On the 8th of November 2019, a YouTuber by the name of Trend Black published a video titled "Techlead and Jomatech, the worst of the tech industry," which meant to showcase and criticize the unsavory parts of Techlead's businesses.
Do you want to learn how to become a sellout? As an ex-Google, ex-Facebook, ex-married millionaire tech lead, this man sells snake oil with enough affiliate marketing to set off an ad blocker. I used to watch a lot of Jomatech. I mean, I even sent him this email. But times have changed, and today I'll show you why Jomatech, Techlead, and their products are utter garbage.
Trend went on to expose how Techlead and Jomatech had teamed up to copy the product of their former sponsor, Algo Expert, while offering an inferior product.
It's been brought to our attention that for the past week or so, there's been this domain out there that is using the Algo Expert brand, but that isn't algoexpert.io. And when you type that domain or URL in your browser, you get redirected to some completely different website that we are in no way affiliated to.
However, Trend's issues weren't with the plagiarism, but with the fact they were only reviewing questions from LeakedCode's website and charging people $100 for it.
My problem
is that if you're gonna fuck people out of $100, couldn't you guys at least make something that would help them? So their product, if you don't know, is basically an explanation of 50 popular interview questions, which doesn't sound too bad. That sounds like a decent product, but let's check it out.
The first problem here.
Yep, so if we look at the screen, here it's a validate binary search tree.
See, right off the bat, these questions are just stolen straight from LeetCode.
The problems didn't stop there, as Trent pointed out the absurd conditions in Techlead's refund policy.
Let's look at this refund policy. If you are dissatisfied for any reason, we offer a 14-day refund period for purchases if less than 40% of the total course material has been viewed. However, in order to qualify for a refund, you must submit proof that you did the work in the course and it did not work for you. Notice how they kind of trap you into this impossible scenario. So you must submit proof that you actually did the work in the course. So if you don't do the course, no refund. How do you prove that? Do you literally have to get rejected from an interview?
While Trent's criticism of the course was mild at best and could have easily been solved, Patrick decided to take a vastly different approach and filed a false copyright strike to silence the critic. By the 12th of November 2019, Trent would make a follow-up video to let viewers know why the first video was taken down.
Around 400 upvotes, I started getting a lot of messages and comments on my email, on my Instagram, on Reddit that says, dude, Techlead copyright striked you. So I check and I go back to my video and it says, your video has been removed due to a copyright strike from Patrick Shu, also known as the Techlead.
Trent also shared a message he received from Patrick that borderline threatened him to, quote, not make enemies.
I received a message from Techlead himself. Techlead here, a bit of friendly advice. Don't create enemies. It doesn't do you, me, or our community any good. Regarding Clement and me, it's such a mess. I'd rather not air our dirty laundry in the public to mostly uninterested people. It was mostly a boring story and we're friends and competitors.
Along with presenting a now deleted comment that Patrick left on his former sponsor's video, Trent stated that it was blatantly trying to offer a sponsorship deal in exchange for his silence.
Anyway, I think you have a nice YouTube channel. I checked out a few videos and there's great potential. Let me know if you ever want to be an affiliate for Tech Series and help improve people's lives instead of spending time criticizing. We do 50% revenue share and would love to have your channel on board if you're interested. He is essentially offering to pay me in order for me to stop making negative opinions about him.
In his response, Patrick would flat out lie about not being able to retract a copyright strike and would attempt to justify his horrible business practices by saying no one else in the industry could offer the same insight as he did. Reading, I can't retract a copyright strike. I recommend if you wish to criticize me, simply remove the imagery of me and re-upload. The knowledge I have to share is something almost no one in the industry will do. Have a good one and let me know if you ever want to promote our stuff. Instead of taking a hard look at the subpar course he was selling, Patrick was fixated on the financial gain and his status as an ex-Google developer. He had zero tolerance for criticism and would go to any length to sweep it under the rug, even going as far as deleting negative reviews on his subreddit.
I got this comment from someone who actually bought and paid for AlgoPro. Too long, didn't read. It just says that AlgoPro sucks, but what struck me as interesting is his first sentence here. He said he posted it on the Techlead subreddit, but it was then removed. Now, Techlead's the moderator of that subreddit, so it's clear to me that he removed this review simply because it was negative, even though it was completely honest. So I can only conclude that the reason he removed my video was because it was a negative review.
Working at a large tech company inflated Patrick's ego to a point that no form of negative criticism was valid, and everyone that he came across owed him the highest level of respect. Just take a look at the comment he left on a channel of someone he called a friend. Let me reply to this whole domain issue. Clement got greedy and decreased the affiliate commission percentage. In any case, stop being a crybaby. This is nothing personal. We just helped a student land triple offers at Facebook, Google, and Apple through our mentoring. And don't forget, respect the Techlead. Fortunately for Tren, Patrick would see reason and remove the copyright strike on his channel, but sadly, that wasn't the end of their interaction. On the 29th of April 2020, Tren made yet another video featuring Patrick, but this time, the issue wasn't a copyright strike, it was doxing.
I wanted to inform you that I will be responding to your serious and false allegations by publishing a social media post calling you out. I will use both our full names so we're not hiding behind anonymity. Remember, Techlead only has my full name and my information because he falsely copyright striked me, right? It's understandable if you want to defend yourself online, but I really hope you don't release my name online. I've kept this private for a reason. I have my face in my video, so clearly I'm not anonymous. So then he just goes on a huge tangent and basically says, I'm gonna dox you if you don't take your video down. Good luck.
While Patrick didn't follow through with the post, he added in doxing Tren by giving his full legal name to another creator he criticized, Matt Tran. Apparently Matt wanted revenge on Tren for making a critical video about him and reached out to Patrick for his details. After a series of threats, Matt released Tren's details in an article geared towards ruining his reputation and future job opportunities. Patrick's actions jeopardized a fellow creator's career prospects, making it nearly impossible for Tren to fight back alone. Thankfully, Tren had a really good friend willing to back him up, CoffeeZilla.
Hey guys, wanted to make a short video to speak up for a friend of mine who's been silenced and doxxed and blackmailed and threatened by two YouTubers who are much bigger than him, and I feel like he doesn't have the platform to defend himself, both in terms of his audience reach and in terms of the fact that anytime he posts a video, it's immediately copyright striked.
Coffee would go on to state his role in trying to prevent the doxing and confirmed that Patrick was responsible for the entire situation unfolding the way it did.
I asked Matt Tran if this is indeed where he got the information from.
Let me ask you, did Techlead get, or did you get the name from Techlead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To add insult to injury, now Tren Black is put in a position where his full name has been doxxed due to YouTube's absurd copyright system, due to Techlead's absurd abuse of the system. But now after posting a video about it, that video was then falsely taken down by Techlead. The video that Tren Black posted had zero footage of Techlead in it. And guess what? Techlead claimed that video, so no one can see it.
CoffeeZilla's video would go on to become a catalyst for more people hearing about the story, which forced Patrick to retract his copyright strikes and Matt to give an apology. However, Patrick wouldn't be so humble as to recognize the error of his ways and made a video titled My Response, addressing my haters as a millionaire Tren Black Matt Tran drama.
I can come up here and give this amazing speech that would totally justify my existence and make me look like this pure, innocent angel. But I have a feeling that my haters are still not going to accept that. Some people, they just don't like the way I look. It's a personal thing. They just don't like my appearance. Maybe I remind them of somebody who wronged them in the past. Maybe they're jealous of my success or jealous of my failures. And there are a lot of people out there who are simply racist.
From the start, Patrick saw nothing wrong with his toxic behavior and framed the hate he rightfully received as racism. After another 7 minutes of stroking his ego, Patrick would finally address the doxing, and sadly, it was more of the same.
But anyways, I did want to quickly address the whole Tren Black Matt Tran drama. I don't know if you've been caught up with this, but the story is essentially that Tren Black has been accusing Matt Tran of doxing him, and somehow my name got dragged into all of this. His whole channel is based on roasting other people. His two biggest videos have been on roasting me, trolling me, and I believe that he basically just dragged my name into this mess because he knew that my channel was bigger. I have more subscribers. People don't really know who Matt Tran is. If he wants the views, he needs to come after me.
Zero accountability, self-awareness, or regard for his audience and critics. These scumbag qualities had gotten Patrick on CoffeeZilla's radar once, and it was about to happen again for the second time. Unfortunately for Patrick, he wouldn't get away scot-free this time. On the 1st of July 2021, Patrick would publish a video announcing his latest money-making opportunity, Million Token, a cryptocurrency he claimed would go to the moon.
Today marks the start of a brand new journey for you, for me, for all of us. I'm glad you could join us because today we are launching a brand new digital currency. The currency's name? Million Token. And so Million Token is literally $1 million opportunity. I'm putting $1 million of my own money into this to get us started, but this coin can skyrocket in price. It can take us to the moon. So what is Million Token? What's the concept? Well, it's like this. Million Token is much like a stable coin. 1 token equals $1 US. For Million Token, the supply is fixed. There's only 1 million tokens total worldwide. No more can ever be created as guaranteed by the smart contract code.
Patrick would go on to make even more bold claims about the future of Million Token and desperately try to sell viewers on the potential value of this coin.
The tokens start at an initial minimum base value of 1 token equals $1 US. But the value can actually rise higher than that because there's only a total limited fixed supply of 1 million tokens total. No more can ever be created.
Patrick was banking on the claim that his tokens already had a $1 valuation to incentivize viewers into buying and promoting the coin to inflate the value. There was zero utility behind the token, and Patrick knew it. That's why he was more focused on the upside if viewers were gullible enough to pay for it.
Is this a decent store of value?
And I would say, well, yes, it seems like it is, because it is a fixed total max supply, just 1 million tokens. You cannot create more. And so the token is deflationary in nature, and over time, its scarcity should only increase, thus increasing the value of the coin.
While there were some viewers that believed Patrick's claims without any critical consideration, others were more skeptical, with comments reading, "So you're scamming? Does this coin create value or just make you rich?" As well as, "Remember this video, this is the point, you're going down." In the video description, Patrick left a link to the Million Token website, and audience members who took the time to look through were greeted by a very telling disclaimer. Million Token is a social experiment. By purchasing Million Token, you agree that you are not purchasing a security or investment contract, and you agree to hold the team harmless and not liable for any losses or taxes you may incur. By Patrick's own admission, the Million Token wasn't a viable financial opportunity or store of value, but that reality didn't stop people from putting their hard-earned money on the line. Within the first 2 weeks of the token going live, the price soared over $250, with a trading volume of more than 120 million. In the short term, people were blinded by the potential to turn a quick profit. However, in the long term, the only person that would make that profit was Patrick, and CoffeeZilla was about to prove it. On the 7th of August 2021, CoffeeZilla would return to expose Patrick's latest scam with the video titled, "Techlead scammed you with Million Token as a millionaire."
Let's talk about Techlead's Million Token. What is it? What does it do? Who's it helping? I'm going to walk you through all of it, and also, not to give too much away, but I will at the end of this video also crunch the numbers and show you exactly how much money Techlead has made with this coin, and the answer is millions of dollars.
To give viewers a comprehensive scope of what exactly was going on, CoffeeZilla outlined what Million Token was and how Patrick blatantly lied to his audience while promoting it.
He made it sound like he was really investing in this coin, but the reality was there was never a chance he could lose money. Number two, he was careful with his words to avoid calling this an investment, but also makes it sound like you'll get rich. 3, he's been siphoning money into shell accounts, and 4, he's been running ads in which he lies about this cryptocurrency.
Coffee went on to provide proof that Patrick never invested $1 million into the token. In fact, Patrick had only put $50,000 into the project while using money from buys to make up the difference.
From the blockchain, that Techlead did not put $1 million into this. In actual fact, he started with the entire supply. This is Million Token. He was given the entire supply at the very launch. He didn't pay for it. Instead, as he sold Million Token, he used that money that you guys bought it with to back the coins.
The premise behind Patrick's so-called opportunity was a bald-faced lie, but even that was only the tip of the iceberg. To further push his scam token to a wider audience, Patrick ran ads to promote Million Token while refusing to disclose he was the one who created the coin.
He got an ad for milliontoken.org, which featured Techlead's video shilling it. And what's shocking about this, besides the fact that he's advertising his own channel and this coin, is that he never discloses in the video that he created the coin. Instead, he pitches it as if he just found it randomly.
Coffee continued by exposing just how much Patrick had taken from the audience.
So I traced all the transactions this guy made in a big spreadsheet, and then just categorized who they were to, who they were from. This is for all the USDC pools, the Million Token pools. And according to my calculations, Techlead has pulled out and siphoned into a bunch of shell accounts a total of $3.3 million.
After discovering the truth behind Million Token, CoffeeZilla would confront Patrick on his dubious claims and had this to say.
So the first part is he confirms that he did just put in $50,000. He later says,
I'm putting $1 million of my own money into this to get us started.
That he believed he deployed another $50,000, but this was from what you guys spent on Million Token. So that is confirmed.
Patrick defended his scheme by claiming the community was valuable and therefore not a Ponzi scheme.
Is this a Ponzi scheme? It depends on whether you think the community has value. If you think marketing, community, and brand have no value, then certainly this would be zero sum. Wow. But I think you can just look at Coca-Cola or Nike and see that brands do have value. Hey, those brands have products, guys.
Now, you'd think after getting exposed for lying, manipulating, and stealing from his audience, that Patrick would at least keep his mouth shut. Unfortunately, his pride and disdain for criticism wouldn't allow that, as he retaliated in the most vindictive way possible. By the 11th of August 2021, CoffeeZilla covered Patrick's now-deleted response video, as well as going over how he got doxxed, and was called racist.
Ladies and gentlemen, Techlead has responded. brace yourselves. He's gone full damage control, panic mode, including calling me racist for exposing his scam.
In his typical fashion, Patrick deflected criticism by saying other people were complaining and being victims.
He goes around basically calling projects scams, and maybe he generates some good press for himself. He virtue signals, and then people think that he's a hero for calling everything a scam. Life is a scam. Okay, he's a hero. This is really just victim mentality.
Thankfully, Patrick would admit that he lied about the initial investment in Million Token.
And to clarify, okay, when I started the project, I bootstrapped with 50,000 USD coins paired to 50,000 million tokens.
That's exactly what I said. So he's admitting it. He did not put in $1 million of his own money. He used your money.
However, that was the only responsible thing Patrick did throughout the video, as he spent the rest of it virtue signaling and putting himself on a pedestal.
And so it's kind of like Genghis Khan, Napoleon, or Captain Blackbeard, these iconic historical figures. And some of these people were even villains. Sure, you could say that Captain Blackbeard was a scammer, he even killed people, and yet they are legends in history, and there is value with these people.
The delusion didn't stop there, as Patrick assumed facing any consequences for his actions would raise the value of Million Token and make him a legend.
I bet that if I were to get arrested and go to jail, the price of Million Token would skyrocket because it would just be legendary.
CoffeeZilla would close out the video by exposing how vengeful Patrick was to dox him by posting already debunked information on Twitter.
Oh, and I almost forgot. He also tried to dox me. Yeah, I almost left that out of this piece. Using an old debunked piece of blackmail that we talked about in this video. Remember, this is the thing Swag Academy tried to catch me out on, but retracted immediately because it's literal blackmail and a dox.
The way Patrick reacted to CoffeeZilla's video was identical to what he did with Trent Black, blackmailing, slandering, and doxing someone who presents genuine criticism, all the while making himself out to be the hero. Shortly after CoffeeZilla's exposed videos, viewers began waking up to just how deceptive Patrick was, but it was already too late. The price of Million Token had dropped by over 80%, and as of this recording, it sits at a price of $1.5. Slowly but surely, Patrick's once loyal audience began losing interest in his channels and stopped watching his content. As the views dwindled, his subscriber count stagnated and dislikes increased. Patrick decided to make an exit by deleting a majority of his previous uploads. However, YouTube wouldn't be the only place Patrick would lose all credibility. In May of 2022, Patrick would make a series of unhinged tweets about his time interviewing people at Google, reading, "So when I used to conduct interviews for Google, I rejected all women on the spot and trashed their resumes in front of them. It didn't take long for the statement to make headlines, and for most Silicon Valley companies to blacklist him." Patrick started out as a positive and relatable figure in the tech space, freely giving out valuable insight and advice to younger developers. Now, he's telling them that they're nothing but grunt workers if they pursue that line of work.
Software engineering ultimately is kind of it's not exactly high status work. High status work would be the type of job that you would want to do even if you were rich. Something like, say, directing a movie, being an actor, maybe being a novelist or a painter, something that would get you some social credibility.
Money, status, and his pride were the only things that mattered to Patrick, and he was willing to throw everything away for that. Sadly, money is the only thing he has left, since no one else is willing to touch his brand or name with a 10-foot pole. Techlead tried to use his resume to justify a scam, but this next situation proves you don't actually need credentials to rob people. You just need a viral moment. If you thought Techlead's arrogance was bad, the speed at which scammers capitalized on the Tuah girl will blow your mind. With a random meme launching her into stardom and giving her brand deals, paid appearances, and even a podcast, you'd think the Tuah girl, aka Hayley Welch, would be satisfied with getting everything she ever wanted. However, one greedy leap into the realm of crypto meme coins landed her in every shady influencer's worst nightmare. An investigation from CoffeeZilla.
Nobody's here for me, everyone's here for you. Where did the fees go? Where did the money for the pre-sale tokens go? Why did y'all unlock day one so people could dump on Hayley Welch's fans? And how involved was she really?
For a bit of context, Hayley's rise to fame was sparked by a viral clip from a street interview with Tim and D TV on the 11th of June 2024.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that huck and spit on that thing. You get me?
The video immediately went viral on Instagram, garnering over 400,000 likes and thousands of comments raving about the absurdity of her offhanded statement. She's a national treasure, keep this woman safe. Imagine for the rest of your life being known as the Hawk Tuah girl. She can't escape it now. As well as, I'm curious as to why the guy picked that particular question to ask. Her laugh at the end is priceless. Not long after the clip went viral, it inspired hundreds of edits and re-uploads, which naturally made people curious who the Hawk Tuah girl was. Fortunately, viewers would get some answers to Hayley's identity through an Instagram post from Tim and D TV. This led fans to a Facebook post from the account Fathead Threads, which featured Hayley signing and promoting their apparel collaboration. While the meme continued to go viral in the preceding months, Hayley didn't seem eager to capitalize on her newfound fame. Initially, Hayley didn't make any social media posts or product launches, which led users to believe the Hawk Tuah soundbite was all they were going to get out of her. However, little did Hayley or anyone on the internet know, the Hawk Tuah meme was about to make internet history once again. For better or for worse. By the 3rd of September 2024, Hayley would return to the internet with the announcement of a weekly Talk Tuah podcast. Reading, y'all kept asking, what's next? Well, this is it. I'm so thankful to have my own podcast where you'll discover the real Hayley Welch. I'm delighted to join the team at Better who fully gets me. Together, we're going to introduce the world to Talk Tuah every Tuesday. Over on YouTube, Hayley was trying to increase the hype for her brand with a rather uncanny promotional video that played into the fact that she was stretching an 8-second clip into a full career.
She's literally doing anything to stay relevant.
Does anyone actually give a fuck about her?
Why are we keeping this girl relevant?
Your 15 minutes are up.
Your joke was funny for 2 days. Stop.
Y'all really thought I was done? I'm just getting started, baby. It smells warm. Yeah. What's one move in bed that makes a girl go crazy?
Unfortunately for Hayley, fans didn't seem to enjoy the overplayed meme anymore as they heavily disliked-bombed the video and flooded it with harsh comments, such as, hanging out with the worst influencers makes me hate her more. She really said the biggest meme of all time on the bio. Nah. The 15 minutes of fame caught her, as well as, imagine milking a 30-second meme with a podcast. Having a podcast episodes massively disliked by her audience would become a running theme on Hayley's YouTube channel, and only seemed to get worse with each upload. Despite the overwhelming negativity, the Talk Tuah podcast reached number 3 on the US Spotify chart within the first month of its launch. What's even more strange is how the podcast managed to stay in the top 5 for several months after. One could imagine that the rapid growth of the podcast would be enough for Hayley and the companies promoting her. But sadly, that wasn't the case, as Hayley and her team decided to monetize the meme in the worst way possible. On the 6th of November 2024, Hayley would publish a tweet showing off her crypto wallet and announcing her plans to launch a meme coin of her own. Naturally, the community was revolted by the possibility of another crypto pump and dump and even speculated that Hayley had every intention to scam her fans. With a tweet from expert crypto investigator Zach XBT stating, "We were warned," with Hayley replying, "Fake news, but appreciate you trying to protect the community." Instead of addressing the concerns of her fans, Hayley labeled it as fake news and went on to launch her coin a few weeks later.
Oh yeah, if I launch a meme coin, can I give you some tokens?
Yeah, I'll give you my wallet. I'll give you my wallet.
Okay.
But are you sure you're gonna launch? I don't know. I'm not a big a fan about meme coins. I love crypto, but you can make some money from it. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Along with this, Hayley and the Web3 platform, On Here, began offering fans spots on the allow list to receive free tokens when it goes live. On the sign-up page, the team behind the Hawk coin reassured fans of the project's legitimacy with claims like, "Hawk isn't just a meme coin, it's a part of the culture." Hayley is using her meme to unite her entire community. Hundreds of thousands of non-crypto users will be onboarded by Hawk, because Hayley is making it easy, fun, and engaging. By the 4th of December 2024, those claims would be proven false, once the coin actually hit the market, and the community's worst nightmare would become a reality. Within an hour of its launch, the Hawk coin price increased by 900%, with a market cap of $490 million, and then dropped by 90% shortly after, all while Hayley is hyping up the coin on Twitter.
My Hawk meme coin is live!
Hawkcoin's launch had all the telltale signs of a pump and dump, and it wasn't long before everyone behind the token was facing serious scrutiny. In the comments of a Twitter post, the crypto analysis software Bubble Maps would write, FYI, your team is keeping 96% of Hawkcoin supply in 10 connected addresses. You might not be aware of this since you're new to crypto, but it's worth bringing to your attention. In an effort to sway public opinion, Hayley and her team would organize a Twitter space to discuss the incident. However, things didn't go as planned. At the start of the space, Hayley would try to pin the blame on quote snipers while seemingly reading off a script full of influencer buzzwords.
Hey y'all, it's Hayley and I just want to say thank you for joining my space, and I also want to thank you for my 15,000 holders. We got snipe botted today, but we didn't sell a single token. This is just a launch, and I want to tell you I'm here to stay. The plan is to give these coins to my real fans, the ones that buy my merch, watch my podcast, donate to my charity. And I also wanted to tell you that I learned a lot along the way, but I just want to say screw the sniper bots and I'm not going anywhere.
Shortly after, Hayley's co-host would rant about how the launch was set up and explain why it definitely wasn't a pump and dump.
Yo, Hayley, they try to fuck us. It's all good. It's all good. Let them know you're here to fucking... You're not here to get sniper botted all day. You're not here to get fucked. We're here to have some fun. We're here to meme. And most of those coins, by the way, are going to your community for free. There was only like 3%. That's why everyone's like, oh, 97% is bundled. 3% was in the pool. That 97% is all on chain. Yes, there was a strategic allocation that was done through SAFs for people outside the United States of America because of all the security laws. So yes, 17% of the supply was taken from that was paid for. There was a strategic allocation, and those tokens, those people can do whatever they want. They're not from the US. They can do whatever the fuck they want with those tokens.
Even going as far as claiming that the critics were mentally ill.
So if you want to be part of this meme community, dope. If not, if you want to just, I'm going to say y'all, you guys, right? There's a lot of negativity in the space. I think crypto brings the mentally ill into this thing, right? If you guys are in crypto, you're most likely mentally ill. And I'm gonna count myself as mentally ill for even being here right now, right? I'm definitely mentally ill. I do love it. I do love memes. I do have a passion for this stuff. I try not to be on X like I used to because it's just a bunch of miserable people trying to farm engagement and hate.
When Hayley and her associates were done explaining, a certain YouTube investigator would take the stage and started hitting them with some hard-hitting questions about their token.
Happy to answer any
I
questions.
have questions. I have questions. I'm raising my hand. Hey guys.
What CoffeeZilla?
Hey, this is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, then why the fuck are you on?
I've been tracing it on chain for a while. You guys generated over $1 million in fees while y'all's fans got rug pulled. There was snipers, but there was also insider trading directly linked to y'all's creator account. What are you guys doing?
No, that's not true.
That is true. That's a fact.
No, it's not.
Well, it's a fact, and you can see it on chain. So
yeah, we know. We trust me. We were there. We could answer that.
You know about the insider trading?
No, there's no insider trading. That's why we can answer it.
Okay, so there's tokens going directly from the main account.
CoffeeZilla, just chill for a second.
For most of the call, Hayley's co-host would continue to evade CoffeeZilla's questions and even directly antagonize him at times.
Who's making millions of dollars on fees from this rug pull?
That's not a scheme. That's the
Who's making fees?
So we can keep this thing going for years. Okay, how do you think? There's so many expenses.
Who makes the money on the fees? Someone just made over $1 million on fees. Who made it?
First of all, the fees were there with Meteora pools, and that goes to, yes, the creator, right?
Which is who? Who does that own? Who does that belong to?
That belongs to the project.
Who's the project? Who is the project?
Well, the project is over here, Hayley Welch, right? And
how much does Hayley Welch own?
This is Hayley Welch's project.
So she owns all of it.
CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla.
I'm just trying to figure out who owns it.
Do you know how much it costs for lawyer fees to create a foundation in the Cayman Islands, to hire directors? You think this stuff pays for itself?
Things would devolve into Hayley and her co-host shouting at CoffeeZilla whenever he presented them with relevant points or evidence.
You just talk over me. You talk over me.
I'm hearing bullshit.
No, you're not. You're talking over me. Let me just lay out your tokenomics. You guys released 3% to the Meteora pool, while you have 17% of the token allocation unlocked day one from your strategic allocation. Are you guys insane? What do you guys think exactly is going to happen when your insiders get sent their tokens? And by the way, who made the money from your 17% pre-sale while you're giving a tiny piece of the pie to the public? Like, what the hell? This is the worst tokenomics I've ever seen, and it is a scam.
It's not a scam.
The tokenomics are a scam. That's my opinion. You can say whatever you want about it. You can cry defamation. That's my opinion. It's a scam. And I only do this for a living. I've only seen 1 million of these projects.
So who pays you, CoffeeZilla? Let's.
Ooh, turn it around. Turn it around. Turn it around. Nobody's here for me. Everyone's here for you.
When the Tuah team couldn't take the heat anymore, they decided to end the conversation by muting CoffeeZilla.
Where did the fees go? Where did the money for the pre-sale tokens go? Why did y'all unlock day one so people could dump on Hayley Welch's fans? And how involved was she really? And how much money is she making from all this? What's her cut? I just got muted.
Eventually, Hayley would get sick of the questions from other speakers and just leave the space entirely.
Hey guys, I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
In Hayley's mind, the entire Hawk controversy was something she could put on hold and walk away from. Unfortunately, the reality of the situation was much more grim, as hundreds of millions of dollars was on the line and holders of the coin were already involving regulating authorities. In his video titled Exposing the Tuah Scam, CoffeeZilla outlined the deceptive strategies used behind the token's launch and the devastating impact it had on the community.
And I just want to show you exactly how the Tuah team is sort of lying by omission here when they say the team hasn't sold one token. And that's because they pre-sold the tokens, guys. They sold them to a bunch of investors with a pre-sale, and then those people were unlocked immediately upon launch. So you can see that with her tokenomics here. It says Hayley's locked for 12 months, but you can see the strategic allocation is fully unlocked immediately on token generation event. Now, I spoke to some people who bought into this pre-sale. They say they got in at $16.69 million total valuation, which means that if they sold out the whole 17%, you're looking at about $2.8 million raised by pre-selling these tokens. So it is essentially a lie to say her team didn't sell tokens. Well, they pre-sold them, and then those investors dumped on your fans. That's the problem, because BubbleMap says we found 285 investors join the Hawk pre-sale. That's about what I saw as well. 89 wallets sold 100% on launch. 47 sold over 50%. Anyway, you can see in total, $3.3 million were sold. Again, as you'll see, on mostly Hayley Welch's fans, or Tuah Girls fans. And I know what you're thinking. Who falls for this? Well, unfortunately, with situations like this, they're not targeting crypto bros. They're mostly targeting, like, actual fans who've never been involved in, the crypto space before.
Insider trading wasn't the only scam at play, as they profited off the exorbitant trading fees throughout the Hawk coin's release.
Now, the other part of this scam that I really need to break down because people don't understand it exactly is the fee scam, okay? When this launched, they had 15% fees on trading. They said that this was to stop snipers. But basically what this means, and because the team now blames snipers for a lot of this rug pull, but what it means is they benefited the entire way. You can see in 24 hours, they made almost $2 million from this fee. Meanwhile, on Dex Screener, you can see the sniper, which is the #1 trader on this coin. They made about $1.3 million in their total profits and loss. So they actually made less in total profits, this sniper that ruined the project, than the team made on fees.
While Hayley's meme status was the driving force behind the project, the individuals that assisted in helping her launch the coin should also be held accountable.
Is that there are 4 groups to look out for here. 1, you have Tuah Girl, who is promoting this thing. 2, You have this guy, Doc Hollywood, who is like Howie Mandel's like son-in-law or something like that. Like, he's this guy who has some connections in Hollywood, and he seems to be the guy connecting Hawk to a girl with crypto, and he said he was teaching her a meme coin class, okay? And he goes unhinged on our call. 3, you have the guys running the crypto token, and 4, you have the insiders who paid money to get early access to this coin and then are rug pulling a lot of Hayley Welch's fans. What you want to make of that, who you exactly want to assign blame to, is up to you. A lot of people are saying, oh, she didn't know any better. She's getting taken advantage of. Maybe, or maybe she's making a ton of money. Talking about Hawk to a girl.
In the pinned comment, CoffeeZilla would leave a response from Hayley's lawyer, stating, I watched the video. Just to clarify, the 50% of net proceeds mentioned was from the allocation of tokens, 10% locked for 1 year with a 3-year vest thereafter, and wouldn't be realized until when she sold them. Out of her 50%, she would have to pay her non-crypto team too. So in reality, she would likely only hold 3.5% of the tokens withdrawn, if at all, on the above schedule. I think a comment from one of CoffeeZilla's viewers summarizes the situation perfectly. The current meme cycle: 1. Become a meme. 2. Start a stupid crypto coin. 3. Rug pull. 4. Lie about said rug pull. 5. Get exposed by Coffee. Regardless of who the masterminds behind the project were, all of those involved will likely face varying levels of legal action. As citizens of the internet, we can only hope that a regulator will see this and want to make an example out of Hayley Welch. While she might not fully understand what she did, actions should have consequences, and there's a lot of people who lost their money because of her shitty scam. We all know meme coins are gambling, so losing money there isn't exactly a shock. But this next story is terrifying, because it happened where your money is supposed to be the safest, a savings account. CoffeeZilla didn't just expose a scam here, he exposed the negligence of the biggest finance YouTubers on the platform. CoffeeZilla has made a career out of revealing the dark underbelly of the online world. However, it's not every day that you get to see a popular YouTube sponsor deprive thousands of people of life savings.
My wife and I, our family has $18,000 in Yada that we can't get out.
Over $60,000 frozen up in Yada. $15,440.06 frozen in Yada.
What's even more surprising is that it all could have been avoided. Please help. Never should have listened to Graham Stephan. I wonder if he knew things were looking bad, that's why he stopped promoting it. Sponsorships on YouTube have always been a double-edged sword. On one side, creators get a chance to promote a worthwhile product that would benefit their viewers. On the other hand, some creators opt to push products that prey on their viewers. This is a pattern that CoffeeZilla is very good at exposing.
Jake makes these videos exposing scams, but then often uses the same tactics of the scam to then pitch you like a sponsor that's in the same lane. Like, for example, he'll tell you that lotteries are predatory.
Lotteries are predatory. They play on our psychology to suck us dry of our hard-earned money.
But then, in that same video, he'll sell you a quote, no-lose lottery.
Play the no-lose lottery by pausing the video and clicking the link below.
That clip was from CoffeeZilla's The Most Evil Business in the World video, which called out Jake Tran for shilling predatory products to his viewers. CoffeeZilla didn't know it yet, but Yoda's no-lose lottery system was going to cause more damage than any sponsor he covered in that video. But that begs the question, what is Yoda? Where did they come from, and how did they end up on CoffeeZilla's radar again? If you were anywhere near the YouTube finance community between July 2020 and 2023, then you would have likely heard of Yoda Savings.
What if lottery psychology could be used to incentivize you to save money and build wealth, instead of keeping you poor? Well, that's where Yoda comes in. A savings account that pays you interest and prizes, giving you a chance to win $10 million every single week.
Back then, the premise behind Yoda was that their platform offered a fun but safe and easy way to save more money. Yoda would offer users tickets in the lottery after they deposited a certain amount of money.
Now with that one ticket, you can go ahead and select 7 numbers, and if you do get some correct numbers out of that whole lottery system, you can actually make some money. But if you get all those 7 numbers correct, including the Yoda number, you can actually win $10 million.
In addition to Yoda's 0.2% annual interest rate, playing their lottery every week could theoretically yield an extra 2%, which was significantly higher than what most American banks offer. They were essentially offering a prize-linked savings system, which was popular in the UK, but only made legal in the US around 2015. When it came to securing the funds saved, Yoda users received an FDIC insurance of up to $250,000, while the lottery numbers were picked by a third-party insurance company. However, since Since Yotta wasn't a real bank, they had to get these benefits by working with certified banks. Yotta was only a financial technology company that managed users' funds, and didn't necessarily hold assets. It was actually the banks they worked with that held the funds. While that system isn't normally a problem, it becomes very important later in the video. For now, Yotta's plan to get more people to save through their risk-free lottery system was working very well. At the end of 2020, Yotta had received over $30 million in deposits, and by 2021, they acquired tens of millions of dollars in venture capital. The waves Yotta made in the finance world would eventually find their way to YouTube, as many creators made videos analyzing the potential returns of having a Yotta savings account. While the reviews for Yotta were mostly positive, some creators saw enough potential value in that company that they became angel investors.
What's up guys, it's Graham here. So through a weird twist of events, I just bought a bank.
On the 20th of September 2020, Graham Stephan uploaded a video titled "Just Bought a Bank," which detailed his experience with Yotta Savings as both a customer and investor. From the perspective of a customer, Graham went over a few fundamental questions about Yotta Savings, like how likely are you to receive the advertised interest rate?
From a savings account standpoint, averaging higher than a 2.5% return right now is incredible, especially when you consider that even the best high interest rate savings accounts right now are paying 1%, and the majority of banks are well below that.
Another question was how the chances of winning are affected by the number of people who join the platform, since the prize pool is spread among more people.
And of course, this kind internet stranger Mark calculated that the probability of your interest rate is boosted on average by 1/10 each week, depending on how many people you bring on. But here's the thing, the more people that join the app, the lower the average interest rate becomes.
Another question was about what it feels like participating in a lottery with friends and family.
After the first drawing, just one day after I signed up for the app, I thought it was so cool, and I also wanted those bonus 100 tickets that I got my girlfriend to sign up, I got my assistant Jack to sign up, and I also got my dad to sign up. And shortly after, it became this 6 p.m. event where all of us would compare our numbers with each other and see who matched what.
And finally, the other question was the security measures that both protect Yotta and the consumer's funds.
For anyone wondering, they are FDIC insured up to $250,000 through Evolve Bank and Trust, so Yotta never actually holds your money, Evolve Bank and Trust does. This is very similar to how other cash management accounts use your money. For example, Robinhood uses Sutton Bank, and many other banks do something similar to hold your asset. I'm sure there might be some skepticism around, how do we know these prizes are rigged? What if this is all a setup, Graham? And to make sure this stays 100% above board, after some research, all the prizes are picked and paid out by a third-party insurance company.
On the consumer side of things, Graham was generally on the side of being cautious, since the company was still in its early stages, and interest rates might not be the same for very long. But from the perspective of an angel investor, Graham was more optimistic.
Well, unbeknownst to me, Ask Sebi asked if I was interested in investing in this company as an angel investor and taking a small piece of ownership during one of their first rounds of funding. So I decided to take a very close look in the company, its founders, and their business model to see if this is something I could get behind. That's when the research started, and the business model behind it is pretty interesting. They're based off the report that 40% of Americans are unable to cover a $400 emergency expense, yet they spend on average $1,000 a year in the lottery. So Yotta aims to bridge that gap by incentivizing people to save more money through a prize-linked system that makes putting money away exciting.
The positive psychological and financial impact of Yotta's price-linked savings on people who were addicted to lottery was also discussed, as Graham cited it as one of the reasons he was investing.
Studies have shown that prize-linked savings accounts actually encourage people to save more money because psychologically, it's a lot more appealing to have the small chance at earning a lot of money than the guaranteed chance at earning very little. And for someone with $400, earning 0.8% on their money, which works out to be $3.20 per year, is not as exciting as saving that $400 and then having the small chance at earning all the way up to $10 million.
Graham saw Yotta as a win-win situation for everyone involved, especially the customer. From his perspective, Yotta was making the idea of saving more money engaging, ultimately introducing more people into the financial practice.
At the end of the day, it's all about learning how to make saving money appealing to an audience who ordinarily would not save money. And this fits that perfectly, while also giving you a fun spin on things and also paying you a higher interest rate than you would be getting from almost any other bank. Even if that means they have to pay a high amount of interest upfront to you to get you as a customer, to me that's just a normal cost of customer acquisition.
While this initial vision for Yotta worked on a small scale, things would only get more complicated and risky for everyone involved. By the 9th of October 2021, Graham uploaded a follow-up video on Yotta Savings titled "I Brought a Bank That's Losing Money" to give viewers a more in-depth perspective on the company.
So about a year ago, I did the unthinkable. I made a substantial angel investment in a small startup bank that pays people to use it. It quickly became the #1 most trending financial app on the Google Play Store. Over $3.5 million worth of prizes were paid out across more than 250,000 users. 60% of them open the app every single day and now could have a valuation in excess of $200 million. But I wish this story were really just as simple as that, because there have been some considerable issues that I need to address.
After expressing his initial concerns of Yotta, Graham addressed the concerns about the legitimacy and inner workings of the company by clearly differentiating it from a Ponzi scheme.
But it became evident that the entire aspect of a prize-based savings account is enough to raise a suspicion that it's gotta be rigged, it has to be a scam, because it sounds like a Ponzi scheme. This is highly illegal, it's blatant fraud, and if Yotta Bank was a Ponzi scheme, posting a video about it on YouTube and risking everything I ever have worked for would have been the stupidest thing I ever could have done.
However, Graham's positive outlook on Yotta didn't stop him from shedding light on the noticeable issues with the platform, like the reducing interest rate, lack of customer support, and basic banking functionality.
There were also some issues that I would like to address, because it wouldn't be fair for me to talk about something that I'm personally invested in without giving it an objective review now that I've had a year to see how things have unfolded. At first, as I expected in my previous video, it became too expensive to pay a high interest rate to bank account churners like myself, who move large amounts from bank to bank in order to game the system. When I saw how much they were initially paying, which is over 2.5% on all amounts, I decided to keep 6 figures of cash on the app, because that was 4 times higher than what I was getting paid at Ally Bank. But after a few months, it became apparent that the majority of high balances never interacted with the app.
At the end of the day, Yotta was a growing startup, and like many startups, there were growing pains. But Graham wanted to look past that. Instead, Graham focused more on what the platform would be down the line.
There's a lot of potential to continue expanding into different products. With startups like this, profit is nice, but growth is even better. I'm not able to get into too many specifics here, but I will say that there is a credit card in the works and incorporating some cryptocurrency, so stay tuned. At the end of the day, it's really about reaching a new audience who ordinarily would not have the desire to save money. Even though it's not profitable yet, they have been consistently growing even without me mentioning them, which is also the reason why I have not mentioned them in a year.
In the short term, Graham's bet on Yotta paid off, as more users flocked to the platform daily, and they were able to increase their marketing efforts to grow their numbers even faster. As a result, YouTube videos sponsored by Yotta became more common between 2021 and 2023.
The more time you waste not using Yotta, the more money you're losing out on. So get started by clicking the link below. Play the no-lose lottery by pausing the video and clicking the link below. We're proud to have Yotta sponsoring this video.
If Yotta kept to their initial vision of raising the number of American citizens actively saving, then maybe things would have continued on their current upward trajectory. But unfortunately, Yotta's rapid growth incentivized management to make a few alterations to that vision. The changes started out small, with the inclusion of casino-type mini-games like pachinko and roulette. These games required users to bet their existing lottery tickets to win more, which preyed on the psychology of recovering gamblers. As with every casino, the expected payout rate would always be less than 100%, which means users who played long enough would eventually lose all their tickets. The co-founders understood the psychology behind these mechanics, and the fact they were now directly taking advantage of it was a sign for worse to come. Yotta's lottery ticket system became less profitable for users after they added Yotta Cash, which altered the $25 to 1 ticket mechanic. Reading, Yotta Cash is replacing tickets as a way to play all games. $1 Yotta Cash is redeemable for $1 US. Yotta customers could see the writing on the wall, with one stating, "This update just made me lose all hope in Yotta. Never liked the ticket idea, but whatever. Now with the tickets being 10 times more expensive, I'm truly about to pull out completely. If only there was a bank system with buckets, that's about the only useful feature left on Yotta." By now, it was obvious a good portion of Yotta's users had the desire to jump ship to a more stable bank. Withdrawing one's savings from Yotta would have been a logical decision since the original premise was all but forgotten. But unfortunately, that wouldn't even be a viable option in the coming months, as things were about to get a whole lot worse. On the 17th of May 2024, a YouTuber named PeopleRTV2 published a video titled "I Got Scammed, the Yotta Bank Situation," to raise awareness for an ongoing issue he had with the platform.
You guys read the title of this video correctly, and it's not a joke. I wish this was a joke, people. I figured let me make the best of it, potentially inform some of you guys of this situation, maybe save some of you guys and just really shed light on this whole thing.
For the first few minutes of the video, people have recounted the decision and events that led him to join Yotta, with the main driving force being Graham's video.
I used to watch a lot of finance YouTubers over the past few years. Recently, maybe not as much, but Graham Stephan was a leader in the field. And 3 years ago, he dropped a video titled, "I Just Bought a Bank."
Rewatching Graham's video forced people to reconsider his choice to use Yotta over a traditional bank.
Like, just watching this back now, knowing what I know, I should have just been like, dude, I just want a regular standard bank. But honestly, this was fun back in the day. You put money in, you get tickets, you make some money. And honestly, like, sometimes it would be good.
To drive home how dead the situation was, people pulled up a list of supported Evolve bank partners, and Yotta wasn't on that list.
List of Evolve bank partners. Marqeta, MasterCard, Melio, Mercury, Prize Pool, Step, Stripe, TabaPay, Visa. Notice, Yotta is not on this list anymore, guys.
Despite his unpleasant experience with Yotta, people didn't blame Graham for what happened with the company.
So he's a partial owner. I don't know if that is still standing currently, but I'm not holding him to blame.
However, Yotta's sudden collapse didn't come without warning, as people shared a notification he received a few days prior, suggesting he withdraw his funds.
If you would like to withdraw your funds now, you can do so on the Yotta app. Please note there's a $10,000 limit. If you have more than $10,000 in your account, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we apologize for this inconvenience. So I didn't think much of it. I thought, you know, whatever. Over the course of the 3 years, the structure has changed a lot.
Sadly, people wasn't able to withdraw in time and found out at the worst time possible.
I need to pull my money out. I tried making the deposit, trying to just withdraw all my money into an actual brick and mortar bank that I have. And I receive this email. It says, "We are currently experiencing difficulties with payment processing, wires and debit and credit cards due to outages with Synapsys brokerage bank processors. We are currently working on a resolution and we will let you know once it's resolved."
Yotta would make a post addressing their customers, explaining what was going on. And at the end of the post, Yotta told their customers that they didn't have control over the frozen funds. Instead, they placed responsibility on Evolve, reading, "Ultimately, it is up to Evolve to restore card services and lineage, or Evolve or another processing bank to provide ACH services. We are in contact with regulators to expedite a resolution, since this is unacceptable." As a result of this technical mishap, tens of thousands of people no longer had access to money they worked so hard to save, and were given no timeline of when they'll get their funds back. By the 3rd of June 2024, CoffeeZilla uploaded a video on the collapse of Yotta and gave a voice to the affected users, as well as calling out the creators who promoted the company.
Today we're talking about a bank promoted by YouTubers that's now become a casino, and users can't get their money out.
After giving an overview of what Yotta worked, how it works, and who promoted it, CoffeeZilla presented an interesting conversation he had with the company's CEO, Adam Moles.
I reached out to the CEO, and he told me Yotta is not actually gambling. Quote, "We decided to pivot the business into sweepstakes earlier this year. Sweepstakes is not gambling. We worked extensively with lawyers in the space to build out the program." Now, I don't know which lawyer told Yotta blackjack isn't gambling, but it's time to get your money back.
Ironically, Adam would outright ask CoffeeZilla for help, but he instead offered advice to both Yotta and to the creators who took their sponsorships.
He responded asking me for help. Quote, "You can make your own moral judgment of whatever you want, that's fine, but the issue that matters is that our customers haven't been able to access their funds for nearly 3 weeks. I think you can help." And honestly, he's right. I do want to help Yotta's customers not getting their money, but I can't ignore that Yotta is a savings app that became a casino, the exact thing they were fighting, and that's disgusting. 2, YouTubers brought people into a financial product that is now broken, and rather than address it, most of them have gone radio silent.
Given the complexity of the situation, CoffeeZilla pointed out why he didn't hold creators responsible for what happened, but stated that they had a role to play even after the collapse.
"This is the reason I hold financial YouTubers to a higher standard. Overwhelmingly, I find them to be more influential. Although I have to say again, I don't hold them or anyone else personally responsible. I hold them all irresponsible for promoting financial products."
CoffeeZilla continued the second half of the video by discussing the more technical side of Yotta's predicament, which was an even more entangled mess.
Since early May, many fintechs, including Yotta and Juno and many others, have had all their user funds frozen, up to 200,000 accounts, are affected, and it's for many reasons that surprised users. See, most people saw these companies like Yada as banks. Remember, Graham Stephan even said, I bought a bank.
I just bought a bank.
But this isn't quite accurate.
To fully get his point across, Coffee would bring on an industry expert to explain what was going on.
What actually has gone wrong here?
So the sort of proximate cause was on Saturday, May 11th, Synapse, which is this technology middleware provider or banking as a service provider, revoked Evolve Bank's access to what in the court filings is being referred to as the dashboard, which is basically Synapse's IT systems, including actual ledger information. And so when Synapse revoked access to that information on Saturday, May 11th, Evolve functionally froze all of those programs by ceasing to process payments.
They would also delve into why the FDIC insurance policy wasn't going into effect.
Now, what is FDIC insurance and what does it do? It protects depositors and users in the event that a bank fails. A bank has not failed here, and so there is no direct role for the FDIC to step in.
Essentially, user funds were caught up in a dispute between companies that couldn't decide who owed what and to whom, with both parties pointing the finger at each other.
All in Evolve's control. We are doing everything we can to release funds. Meanwhile, Evolve says Synapse's records are wrong. Quote, recent ledgers and data do not align with the actual movement of funds in and out of Evolve. Basically, someone is lying, or even worse, doesn't know what the truth is, and this isn't a disagreement about a few pennies. It's $150 million being argued about.
Naturally, viewers who followed these financial suggestions and potentially lost savings worth tens of thousands of dollars were furious, with many openly sharing their grievances on Reddit, with posts reading, "Investigate Graham Stephan about his investment in Yotta," and also he was the one who promoted Yotta on his YouTube and got me into this mess. It was also promoting FX, as you already reported it before it burned to the ground, as well as, please help, never should have listened to Graham Stephan. I wonder if he knew things were looking bad and that's why he stopped promoting it. Although there was a lot of hate going around for Graham and other Yotta sponsored channels, some creators were trying to bridge the gap by giving a different perspective. On the 9th of June 2024, Meet Kevin gave his thoughts on the situation from his and Graham's perspective.
An easy thing a lot of fintechs do that try to innovate, so to speak, in the finance space is they partner with depository banks, and as a result, they're able to offer products or apps or services that may not otherwise exist.
Below the video, a viewer would comment a very good summary of why Graham was receiving so much backlash, with a comment reading, "People are targeting Graham because he was the reason why thousands of people signed up for Yotta, and he has yet to come out and say anything about it. Even if it's a, hey guys, I don't know what's going on, but as soon as I find out something, I'll let you know. Say something. Anything." Yotta's original concept for a safe way to save money while encouraging people with the hopes of winning huge sums worked well in the beginning. Sadly, the desire for rapid growth and profitability pushed the company management to abandon that ideal, a decision users openly hated. Couple that with the recent hold on transactions, and was only a matter of time before users began to perceive Yotta as just another shady casino app. This dark perception inevitably bleeds into the reputations of creators that associated themselves with the company. The negativity was only amplified by the lack of communication and updates viewers received from creators. However, does that mean YouTubers were to blame for what happened? Well, it's not exactly clear-cut. YouTubers are responsible for screening their sponsorships, but viewers should also do some research on these products, especially when it comes to financial products. While no amount of research could have predicted the eventual fate of Yotta, we can only hope the hardworking individuals that saved their money have it returned to them as soon as possible. Losing your savings to a broken app is a complete nightmare, but at least the app didn't try to brainwash you. The same can't be said for the fake guru industry. At his peak, Jay Mazzini saw himself as an untouchable influencer who could get away ruthlessly preying on unsuspecting fans.
For the $20, first 500 people to tweet.
However, that delusion was shattered when CoffeeZilla decided it was not just time to end Jay's crypto schemes, but his entire career.
We are uncovering quite possibly the largest giveaway scam in history, and the crazy thing is that it's still going on right now as we speak.
On the 11th of December 2020, CoffeeZilla uploaded a video titled The $100 Million Scam That's Still Going On. Throughout the video, he would alert viewers to a very insidious scam that was spreading on Instagram.
Everybody that gotta pay their groceries, I want you guys to come up. This is Big Man. Here you go, guys. Here you go.
This is the side that Jay Mazzini wants you to see. He has a bunch of posts on his Instagram everywhere where he's giving away money. But the question is, where did he get this money? Well, he'll tell you he owns an academy where he teaches trading, and he also owns a clothing company called Mazzini Italy.
CoffeeZilla went on to reveal that Jay's acts of curiosity weren't fueled by the profits of a legitimate business, but by a lie he was peddling to impressionable viewers.
This is gonna be a mystery box. Minimum order of 3 Mazzini products. In order to win, maybe $10,000, maybe $20,000, maybe $30,000.
See, this is how Jay Mazzini really makes his money. He does giveaways where he will say, for the next X number of orders, I'll be giving you back money. And it's not like an insignificant amount. This is often life-changing amounts of money, but the requirement is you have to buy products from his site, MazziniItaly.com, in order to enter to win.
Paying for the possibility of winning a prize was a telltale sign of a giveaway scam, but that didn't stop Jay from making several outlandish claims.
For the next 1,000 orders, I'll be placing in $12,000 in each order.
$12,000! I know most of you guys already smell a gigantic scam.
Essentially, Jay was using the public giveaway videos on his Instagram page to manipulate viewers into believing they stood a chance at getting similar outcomes. However, once the assumed winners had their orders fulfilled, they quickly realized that the only person getting paid was Jay.
I was on live with Jay Mazzini. He told me I won $2,000. I have screen recorded and everything. Now I am opening these up. I supposedly won. I was on live and I still didn't win.
Of course, nothing's in the bags. Guys, I mean, this should not come as a surprise to anyone. You literally cannot do this giveaway. It's impossible. So what does this mean? It means that if Jay Mazzini's telling the truth and his clothing line's worth $8 million, he basically created that from nothing by telling people he's going to give away all this money.
While Jay suffered minor consequences like public outcry and getting his PayPal banned for fraudulent activities, he still maintained his innocence by claiming that at least his audience received a product.
This is how he reconciles not paying people money.
When a lot of people lost, at the end of the day, you're getting a product.
Jay even went as far as turning the blame on viewers for expecting money in the first place.
Scamming how? Scamming how? I got a clothing line. I got an academy. We sell clothes. We teach stocks. You call the brand a scam? Why? Because I can't give everybody money? Instead of looking for something, go get up and work.
To illustrate the length of Jay's web of lies, CoffeeZilla calculated the total amount of money he promised his viewers, but never delivered on, as well as how much he made off their trust in him.
They calculated out, how much money total he's promised, and it's $100 million. He's promised over $100 million, and the maximum he could have made from those $100 million is $7 million in sales. Coincidentally, pretty close to what he says his company is worth.
$8 million net worth. I'm not saying, like I said before, I don't have $8 million cash, but my net worth, I do, like.
Looking at him now, you'd assume Jay always had been a con man, but initially that didn't seem to be the case. Back in 2017, Jay presented himself as a legitimate businessman who specialized in retail products and seemed to be more focused on furthering his faith rather than finances.
Sometimes you gotta realize there's more to life than materialistic things, cars, fashion, jewelry. I never used to pray back in the days. I never used to be really happy back in the days. I never found real happiness until now. So now I'm in Saudi Arabia. I'm praying right where the prophet used to pray.
As you'd imagine, that kind of message resonated with a small but loyal fan base that genuinely looked up to Jay, with comments reading, "What we're waiting on for long on YouTube. We love you. For the sake of Allah, keep spreading the love. Continue inspiring, brother," as well as "Amen, brother. Continue to inspire and spreading love throughout our world." Although Jay didn't do it alone, as he frequently piggybacked on the credibility of recognizable celebrities like Nicky Jam and 50 Cent. At best, Jay was an average guy who leveraged social media clout to sell white label label products. At worst, he was a manipulative grifter that weaponized fake generosity for personal gain. Unfortunately, Jay was only getting started on his quest to rip off anyone who bought into his phony philanthropy. By early 2021, Jay adopted a more aggressive approach to duping his viewers. Instead of selling a product, Jay sold his audience a dream of garnering massive returns by sending him Bitcoin. With a tweet from CoffeeZilla reading, "He's telling people he's buying Bitcoin 5% above asking, and will send a quote wire transfer, but requires you to send the coin first. Don't fall for this."
So why am I buying Bitcoin? Because I believe it's one of the greatest things to invest in as of now. For the ones that are selling Bitcoins, yeah, I'm still buying. Just DM. Why I can't buy? Sometimes you have limits on certain exchanges on platforms like Coinbase, Kraken, Ledger, Binance.
CoffeeZilla continued to raise the heat on Jay's crypto ventures by analyzing his methods of manipulation when talking to victims privately.
So again, after he sends it, the wire transfer isn't there. He supposedly sent it. So he says, okay, am I getting the 0.9 coin? He doesn't get it. He says, I sent a wire for 81,000. You should receive it in 2 to 3 business days at the most. Classic scam. This guy says, I texted you in the morning. You said you'd send the coin today. Are you going to wait till you get the wire, then send it? This guy says, wire has been canceled. Who are you for me to send you the funds first? Then you send me the coin. Sorry, I'm not obligated to trust you first.
Thankfully, some fans were able to see right through it and call out Jay on his BS.
Now, this guy correctly responds, neither am I, bro. You're asking me to send you 0.9 Bitcoin or $35,000 just because you texted me this. You didn't show me any proof either. It's really sad to see this kind of stuff coming from you, bro. I always thought you were a really legit guy with a good heart, but you high-key cheating people. Yo, bro, I don't know you from a hole in the wall to send you anything first. Who are you? If anything, you're cheating me. You want me to wait for funds to reach you so I can say, oh, Jay, I'm not going to run. I'm supposed to trust you first. Okay, classic manipulation.
Unfortunately, Jay wasn't satisfied with just preying on random people and set his sights on exploiting people in his local community. On the 2nd of March 2021, CoffeeZilla covered yet another ongoing investment scam from Jay that saw him extract the life savings of dozens of his fellow Muslim brothers and sisters.
A lawsuit just came out from the state of New York, and Jay Mazzini and some of his cronies are listed in here, where he has now created a whole thing called Halal Capital, okay? This is for Muslims, people of faith, and it was a community-like investment opportunity.
Apparently, Jay convinced a well-respected member of his local Muslim community to help him collect money from local business owners under the pretense of investing it in worthwhile ventures.
He used this guy, Noor Rabba. He is a resident of the state of New York, and he was a funeral director and a community activist. Jay described himself as a licensed financial professional and expert investor who had grown his wealth several times. And Jay Mazzini wanted to basically give away stuff, give away money to the community.
However, when it came time to return on said investment, Jay refused to fulfill his end of the deal.
Instead of paying them, Jay Mazzini made a series of excuses, including that investments were delayed by COVID-19 pandemic and appealing to their shared religious background as evidence of his good faith. Whenever Noor expressed concern about the investors' funds, Jay Mazzini would deflect with references to his own extraordinary wealth, at times even offering to personally guarantee investments. The scheme unravels further.
In response to Jay's blatant dishonesty, his former business partner moved to resolve things in court, which makes sense considering there were millions of dollars at stake.
According to this lawsuit, the entire fund that he raised was $10 million in funding from people. These are people's life savings that are invested with this man, this con man.
Pressure from both the legal system and his local community would force Jay to make up one of his most outlandish lies yet.
Well, the payments were scheduled for August, didn't happen. Then August 22nd, pay attention, guys, pay attention. Jay Mazzini advised Noor that he had been robbed at gunpoint. Hey, does anybody buy that? So, I'm supposed to give you your money. I was going to give it to you, but oops, I was robbed. He says that he didn't know the exact amount stolen, but he estimated it to be in millions of dollars. And he said, oh, oops, it was all stolen in cash, and then he had little to nothing left for payouts.
The fact that Jay expected people to believe his dubious claims was a testament to how delusional he had become. But sadly, this wouldn't be the last time Jay let his overinflated ego run wild. Within days of CoffeeZilla's video going live, 2 victims of Jay's crypto scam came forwards to share details of how they were conned out of millions in the span of only a few days.
Now, our 2 victims today are Wafi and Ahmed. We will be hearing from both of them. One of them lost about $200,000, the other $750,000. $15,000. Interestingly, our last story on Jay Mazzini yesterday got quite a lot of buzz, and he even responded to it, saying in a story, quote, "Easy to target someone that has a big name audience, but the truth will prevail."
While there were certain differences in how Jay approached each victim, there were key patterns that he followed in order to garner their trust and eventually their money. First of all, he openly provided several critical means of identification, like passports and KYC to mitigate any suspicions. Jay wanted them to believe that he was too credible and well known to take advantage of them, and he succeeded.
I told myself, who with such visibility and popularity or whatever followers he has, even though it could be fake, and that he sends his full name, full passport, it means it's him. I don't know what he's going through in his life, maybe to burn people like that. He's playing games with people, and he played with the wrong guy, because I'm gonna do everything in my possible to get him stopped, to retrieve my funds, and to protect others from this guy, because it's a real hassle to get your money back after.
Upon receiving payments, Jay began bombarding them with hollow promises and fake wire transfers.
I send them about $18,000, $20,000 worth of Bitcoins over the weekend. That's what I was able to send. And I told them to wait until Monday to get them a large amount. So by Monday, I had contacted the exchange and had and wired them almost $800,000, 750-ish, wired them that money. So they can send, and they sent the Bitcoins directly to the address he's provided. He confirmed receiving the Bitcoins on Monday. He issued a bank wire, which when you issue a bank wire, it's basically look at it as a certified check. You can't cancel a bank wire.
Even after being confronted on his lie, Jay would only become more aggressive and frame himself as the victim.
This is a fake confirmation. Then as criminals, when you corner them and show them that you know exactly what they're up to, they try to attack you back and say you're doing this, you're doing that, you're a bullshitter, you're this, and they start cursing you out and stuff. And for me, disrespect isn't gonna get him out of the situation.
Right.
Simply I said, I need my money back that you stole from me.
When simply ghosting his victims wasn't an option, Jay employed more evasive tactics to keep him from facing any real consequences. By the 6th of March 2021, CoffeeZilla interviewed a victim of Halal Capital, who witnessed just how vile Jay could be when he's not hiding behind a screen.
It's ridiculous how many people that this man has allegedly scammed. Now, as a quick reminder, we're talking about $3.5 million allegedly lost by Jay Mazzini. The person we are talking to is one of the members of Halal Capital, one of the investors who has not received his money, has not received his interest, has been chasing this guy down, trying to find him, and I am stunned.
Similar to previous victims, Jay would tell or show them whatever they wanted to hear in order to get them to drop their guard and money. But the only difference this time was that he relied on physical force to postpone the inevitable.
2 days go by after constantly pressuring them. They finally get us to come to sit down at a family friend's house, not even at his house. They're not even man enough to bring us into their own houses. I go there with me and Noor and 2 other individuals. Were greeted by 3 bodyguards for a simple sit down, for something that we're coming to collect our rights, basically.
Even though Jay was occupied with constantly avoiding his victims, he made sure to carve out time to bolster his image in the public eye.
Now, from August up until October, we're gonna pay you back. You just gotta wait. You know, right. We have this legacy castle thing going on in September. He had this like convention done where he had these rappers come in, Fabulous and Ludacris. These are people to boost up his image, to show that he's a prominent figure. He makes these millions that he's able to
shrug off. $18 million is nothing.
Nothing, right? We went there, we showed our faces, we were there. He was spooked out. He didn't want us there at all.
By now, Jay knew it was too late to salvage his credibility and moved to wipe all evidence from his social media platform.
Today, we're talking about Jay Mazzini and reflecting on the fact that all his stuff has sort of been taken down by himself. By the way, it seems like, from what I can tell, I think he just deactivated it. And I'm not even going to say he's going to be off the internet forever, but at least for now, he can't scam people. It's a huge win. I showed what he was doing, and he decided that he didn't want to live on an internet where people knew that he was scamming people.
While there were upsides to Jay leaving the internet, there was still a possibility that he might flee the country and turn the case cold. Fortunately, CoffeeZilla and the victims wouldn't need to worry about that, since Jay was already working hard to ensure his own downfall. On the 18th of March 2021, CoffeeZilla would share some unexpected developments regarding Jay's whereabouts, and pleaded with any remaining victims to contact him immediately.
A lot of times we talk about fake gurus, nothing happens. In this case, he was arrested, and not for the reason you think, because it wasn't for Bitcoin. It wasn't for the clothing scam. It wasn't for any of the scams that we've covered on this channel. And in fact, I'm still asking for information. If you've been scammed in the Bitcoin scam and you are in the New York City area, DM me in the next 24 hours.
While there were aspects of the case CoffeeZilla couldn't share, he was able to present a recently published court document that explained why Jay was in police custody.
The charges, shall we? Because these are unbelievable. Here's the main charge: kidnapping. Jay Mazzini was arrested for kidnapping, aggravated assault, luring or enticing of an adult. So he kidnapped an adult, is what we know publicly. Possession of a weapon for unlawful purpose, criminal coercion, threat to inflict bodily injury, endangering of an injured victim, and terroristic threats, threat of crime or of violence.
Defrauding people was one thing, but kidnapping and assaulting someone was a whole different story. Ultimately, these new charges would make it impossible for Jay to flee the country and guarantee he had front row seats to the end of his criminal career. By the 24th of March 2024, during a court proceeding in which the defense intended to argue for his release from jail, Jay would be told the worst news of his life.
Are we ready to proceed with the detention hearing?
Your Honor, I'm not sure if Your Honor received an email I sent a couple hours ago. It come to our attention that the FBI has put a detainer or hold on our client that was placed on him last night.
When asked about the new charges from the FBI, Jay's attorney had this to say.
They consented to the detention. There's an FBI detainer. Is that related to charges, counsel?
Yes.
Charges?
Correct, Judge. There were wire fraud charges that were issued last night.
Jay stole millions of dollars from innocent people without a second thought, and is only now growing a conscience in the face of decades behind bars. It's also worth noting that this outcome wouldn't have been possible without the willingness of victims to step forwards and share their stories.
The victims came forward. They're the ones who, in the FBI's complaint, are the reason that he's going down. You know, but it made me realize, like, it doesn't take a lot of victims standing up for themselves to take a bad person down.
Yes.
But the problem is victims don't stand up. And, like, that's one thing that I'm really fighting against, is this mentality of, like, oh, I don't have to fight back. Like, I just was scammed, whatever. It's like that guy, actually, your buddy Morgan was saying on the show. He's like, these people, they didn't do anything when I scammed them. And that's the wrong approach. You should do something. You have rights. They've been violated. Go do something. You can affect change. Like, report it to the FBI, report it to, you know, people. And justice does get served in a lot of these cases, man. It really does.
While this was a major win for everyone Jay stole from, there were still victims willing to obscure the truth for personal gain. During a live stream, CoffeeZilla would reference a critical interview he was unable to share due to unforeseen factors.
Hakeem Seif, hi Coffee, where's the victim's interview? I want to talk about this. So, I'm pissed. I get this interview with this guy. He's been kidnapped. The kidnapping victim. I interview him. And he wants to go on the show. Like, I didn't pressure him into, I was like, you want to do this? Are you sure? Yeah, man, it's fine. Let's do it. So we record it. I go, are you sure? We're good? Like, we're good? I should edit this? Yeah, man. I'm fine with releasing it. I edit the entire video. He goes, send it to me before you release it. I said, cool. That's fine. I send this guy the finished video. It's finished. We can't release this. Why? The detective call, I shouldn't say too much. Basically, the guy basically had second thoughts.
Thankfully, it wouldn't be long before more details on the kidnapping were made public. Back in August of 2021, CoffeeZilla would revisit Jay Mazzini's case to explore recent criminal charges his wife was facing.
Arrested on July 14th for conspiracy to commit kidnapping. Not only that, on July 22nd, she was also charged with witness tampering and bribery. Holy crap. So this one, she didn't even just get the kidnapping charge. She also got a witness tampering and bribery charge. So obviously the question is, who was she bribing? What are we talking about here? Apparently several accomplices, including this guy, repeatedly tried to bribe the kidnapping victim into dropping the charges, said the prosecutor. So that's what she's in trouble for. Her, along with other people, are charged with trying to bribe this guy right here who got beat up by Jay and I guess his squad, his goon squad.
Ironically, the kidnapping Jay staged to protect his online image would end up being the catalyst for its destruction.
From the Daily Voice, they did a good story on this. Ibarra, that's Jay Mazzini, picked up the 25-year-old victim at the 7-Eleven on Palisade Avenue in Fort Lee on March 15th on the pretense of wanting to talk over coffee. The victim, who'd apparently trashed him online, apparently got hinky, okay, when two of Ibarra's associates got into the 2020 Land Rover. So he got off and sped off in his own car. The crew chased the victim down, beat him, shoved him in the back of Ibarra's SUV, the complaint says. They stripped him naked, held a machete to his neck, and told the victim to remove negative social media posts he'd made about Ibarra, it said.
Worse still, the kidnapping victim would eventually be taken into custody for accepting a bribe from Jay.
In this video, I'm going to talk about what happened, who's responsible, and what it means. Let's go.
CoffeeZilla went on to recount the events surrounding the interview that led a victim to be an active hindrance in the case.
Crazy story that has been reported on a lot. And we talked about it during that show. Afterwards, he came to me, he said, "Hey, Steven, don't show this thing because of the fact that, hey, I'm working with detectives. I don't know if they're ready to have the story out." I say, fair enough, bud. I'm not trying to, hurt your case. Now, during that time, Jay Mazzini's locked up, and I guess it's coming out now that the family of Jay Mazzini then approached MJ Moves, the guy who was kidnapped, with kind of what seems like a bribery deal, okay, about his statement to the feds. This is the headline: man allegedly kidnapped by Jay Mazzini, charged with taking bribe to recant statement.
Sadly, the victim decided to put a price on his honesty and accepted their offer.
This is the headline: man allegedly kidnapped by Jay Mazzini, charged with taking bribe to recant statement. And apparently, our boy MJ accepted this thing and got what allegedly an $100,000 payment in return for a new statement that was meant to facilitate the release of one of the defendants from jail, aka Jay Mazzini.
What's even more pathetic about this outcome was that it could have been completely avoided if he listened to CoffeeZilla.
I still want to respect his privacy to some extent as much as I can, but essentially the conversation was, "You're not thinking of taking a bribe, are you?" And he's like, "Well, I can't tell you that." Basically, I'm like, "Don't do it. That's idiotic." I just, because all I had heard was rumors. I didn't know what was true, what was not. I just heard rumors from some of the various people covering this. I said, this is a terrible idea. Do not do that. It's going to hurt the victims who've been affected by Jay Mazzini. And now it looks like he allegedly took it. Okay. And of course, it looks like I was right that it was, of course, a bad idea to take a bribe, because he was arrested for this and charged with accepting a bribe.
For years, Jay desperately tried to cover up all traces of his crimes. However, by November 2023, Jay had no other option but to plead guilty to said crimes.
24 hours ago, I listened on a call as the popular Instagram influencer Jay Mazzini pled guilty to many of the crimes I accused him of 2 years ago. And finally today I can say it's no longer alleged. He said he did it. And now he faces serious prison time for his...
According to the United States Attorney's Office, Jay was sentenced to 7 years in prison for, quote, wire fraud conspiracy, and money laundering arising out of multiple schemes that resulted in millions of dollars in loss to trusting investors. Looking back, Jay's overconfidence, greed, and manipulative tendencies were arguably the greatest factors in his downfall. On numerous occasions, Jay felt he was invincible and arrogantly stole from everyone around him. Fortunately, Jay's careless mistakes would provide all the evidence CoffeeZilla and law enforcement needed to put him behind bars. While Jay's conviction forced him to face the consequences of his actions, it would later become apparent that he hadn't learned from his mistakes. On the 9th of July 2023, Jay would create a TikTok account and shared a video proclaiming his eventual return to social media.
It's been a minute since I touched base with my supporters, the ones that have been rocking with me from the beginning. Me touching base in the first place was because hearing about the Hulu documentary that came out, which I really think is a one-sided story. Regarding that, man, it's not what it seems. I could care less anyways. I've been down for 3 years, so I just want to say I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me. This is my official Instagram, DJ Mazzini. So I'll keep you guys up to date. I see you guys very soon. I'm chilling, I'm cooling. I've been down for 3 years, but I'm cool, calm, collected. It's all love, man. Can't wait to see you guys very soon. It's all love, man. Be safe, and it ain't stopped yet.
Selling bad courses is unethical, but it doesn't compare to the sheer scale of what happened next. Here are 3 of the biggest financial frauds CoffeeZilla has ever uncovered. We'll be examining some of the most notorious YouTubers who were exposed by CoffeeZilla for extracting millions of dollars from their fans through rug pull NFTs, scams, and pump and dump crypto tokens. And what better place to start than the quote problem child himself, Jake Paul, who's been caught by CoffeeZilla for 4 different scams. If you're familiar with the Paul brothers, you'll know that they're no stranger to scamming their audience. Back in 2021, Logan Paul launched his own crypto/NFT game called CryptoZoo. This turned out to be a massive scam, with Logan's audience losing millions in the process.
How much did you guys make from CryptoZoo?
I lost around $50,000 in CryptoZoo.
I lost $40,000. I lost around $15,000 US.
I lost $25,000.
$120,000.
$500,000 Australian, which is $500,000.
Sadly, his younger brother, Jake, isn't far behind when it comes to taking advantage of his audience for a quick buck. The first time CoffeeZilla exposed Jake was on the 8th of November 2021, in a video titled, "Jake Paul Thought He'd Get Away With This." This was about his first major crypto scam with NFTs, called Sacred Devils. And while it seems small by comparison to his later scams, Jake still pocketed over $170,000 from this single venture. It all started in September, when Jake posted a now-deleted tweet stating, "F it, just jumped into this hype and minted my first NFT. Definitely living in a simulation. These devils are clean as for real." On the surface, this looked like Jake discovering something he found interesting and sharing it with his audience. What he didn't reveal, and CoffeeZilla found in his investigation, however, is that he was actually paid a massive sum for promoting this essentially worthless NFT.
Jake Paul posted this tweet shilling this NFT project on September 8th, but on September 7th, something very interesting happened. The League of Sacred Devils that we just found paid John Marionek, his buddy, 43 Ethereum. And the very next day, on the day of Jake's tweet, September 8th, John Marionek then pays Jake Paul's NFT account 40 of that Ethereum. This leaves 3 Ethereum for John Marionek himself as a finder's fee, but to put this together, League of Extraordinary Devils paid Jake Paul 40 Ethereum in an undisclosed deal that is currently worth $178,000 to shill an NFT project.
Now, in an ideal world, getting exposed like this should have made Jake lose the trust of his audience, preventing him from scamming them any further. Unfortunately, Jake got away with the Sacred Devil scam completely scot-free, so he went right back to milking his fans with another worthless NFT project called Stick Dicks. He changed his Twitter profile picture to one of the NFTs and began posting about it non-stop, with tweets like, "Just broke up with my girlfriend because she didn't mint a Stick Dicks." And they worked, with Jake pocketing over $1.5 million from the project. Well, at least he was being obvious about this being a promotion and not something he just found randomly. That's something. However, this time, Jake was hiding an even bigger secret, which CoffeeZilla uncovered in his video.
I have here in front of me the StickDix deployer address, the one who created all of the NFTs here, right? The whole contract for this. And would you like to know who funded this whole project? The biggest dick of all, Jake Paul. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Far from being an ambassador or just like somebody interested in the project, it turns out the first person to give any money, 1 Ethereum, to this deployer right before it created the whole thing was Jake Paul.
After getting caught twice, Jake went into hibernation and didn't participate in any more scams. However, this only lasted a few months, because in March of 2022, CoffeeZilla busted Jake again for promoting a crypto project called SafeMoon. SafeMoon, for those who don't know, was a massive scam involving multiple influencers and celebrities. That's too big of a mess for me to cover in this video. All you need to know is that it was a classic pump and dump scheme, and just like with Sacred Devils, Jake promoted it to his audience without disclosing that he was getting paid for it. But even then, this wasn't the end of Jake's scams, because a couple months later in June, CoffeeZilla had to make yet another video exposing him for his biggest scam to date, called Animoon.
So today, the scam we're talking about is Animoon. He was caught promoting this. It's a Pokemon knockoff. It's just like stealing money from people who are fans of Pokemon. Anyway, here's the promotion.
Animoon team, it's great to be a part of this project. I love the designs inspired by Pokemon, the whole 9 yards. Me, personally, I'm going to try to get a legendary during the public.
Besides the obvious copyright infringement of the Pokemon IP, this particular project came with something even more scummy, a fake lottery.
Because one of the promises of this NFT, of the legendary NFTs, was that they were going to generate revenue every month, $2,500 every month. It says right here on their website, which has now been deleted, 15 cards are legendary cards that will be automatically generating $2,500 every month for life to their owners, sort of a Yang Gang style UBI if you get this 15 out of like 10,000 card. And so you can see why people thought it was a good investment.
And as you might have expected by this point, this was a complete scam. Before anyone could have actually received the promised $2,500, the project crashed to the ground, netting Jake and his crime partners $6.3 million in return. The worst part of this, however, is that this was far from Jake's first offense, something that Coffee also pointed out in his video.
He technically has scammed more times than he's boxed professionally in his life. So I don't know if he considers himself a professional boxer, but if he does, he's definitely a professional scammer more than he is that.
Yet, despite this, he didn't suffer any consequences for his horrible actions. And while he has moved on from crypto-related scams, he's now grifting his audience for tens of millions of dollars with allegedly scripted boxing matches. But at least Jake Paul was always known to be a bad person. Jake Tran, on the other hand, was adored by his audience and decided to flush his reputation down the toilet for money. Jake Tran spent a long time trying to build a career on YouTube. However, he didn't find mainstream levels of success until late 2019. When he started making documentary-style videos on various topics. Among these, his business and money-related videos were consistently performing the best, so he went all in on the business side of things, and it worked wonders, with these videos getting millions of views. He also started making videos exposing cleverly hidden scams behind things we see everywhere, like recycling, and the audience loved every second of these. It's actually a tragedy that Jake doesn't have over 1 million subs, genuinely one of the best YouTubers on the entire platform. All hail Jake Tran, the best YouTuber on the planet. Most importantly, they respect Jake for pointing out the evil in the world with his well-produced documentary-style videos. Little did they know at the time, things were about to go downhill. Fast. On the 18th of January 2022, Jake posted a video titled Walmart, the most cutthroat monopoly in the world. It was a standard Jake Tran video with nothing out of the ordinary. That is, until you reached the sponsor segment, as it was dedicated to what can only be described as a crypto scam.
Are most of these NFTs useless? Absolutely, but that doesn't mean you can't make money off of them. That's where Project MetaMugs comes in. And this is free, by the way, so you're gonna want to stick around. MetaMugs is a tight-knit community tailor-made for beginners who are looking to make money in the NFT space. And within their Discord, they have what's called their Whale Bot Tracker, a tool that monitors the wallets of crypto whales and sends you a Discord alert every single time they buy an NFT project.
Many of his viewers immediately saw through the scam and advised Jake to find better sponsors, with a commenter stating, "Jake, you have so much potential to be big and make lots of money. Don't diminish it for a little more cash now by risking your viewers' safety and not questioning the integrity of your sponsors." But since this was his first offense, most people considered it nothing more than a mistake and let it slide. This was a golden chance for him to apologize to his loyal fans and avoid taking on such sponsorships in the future. Jake, however, had other plans in mind. The money from these fraudulent crypto sponsors would have been good, because Jake kept including them in his videos. And that's when CoffeeZilla made his expose in August of 2022, titled "The Most Evil Business in the World." And in this video, CoffeeZilla pointed out a very disturbing trend in Jake's newer uploads.
And what I noticed is that Jake makes these videos exposing scams, but then often uses the same tactics of the scam to then pitch you like a sponsor that's in the same lane. Like, for example, he'll tell you that lotteries are predatory.
Lotteries are predatory. They play on our psychology to suck us dry of our hard-earned money.
But then, in that same video, he'll sell you a quote, no-lose lottery.
Play the no-lose lottery by pausing the video and clicking the link below.
And it's not just that. It seems like he handpicks these sponsors for the videos, because he also said crypto trading bots are a scam and often a way to get people to believe there's a free money machine.
Back in the Wolf of Wall Street days, you would just shove penny stocks down people's throats and take a giant commission. A few years back, it might have been selling a stock trading bot or a forex trading bot that supposedly makes you money while you sleep. But today we have something even better, even more tempting: a crypto trading bot.
Now, right after learning that crypto trading bots are the new tempting way to get people to give you their money, guess what Jake Tran advertises?
And the product itself is actually legit. You can set up your own custom bots based on your parameters, deploy them to start trading automatically with your money, see the trades come in, and withdraw your money.
Like, it's almost breathtaking, isn't it? Like, to see someone denounce a scam and then in the same breath be like, you know, it's not a scam, the same thing.
Jake was essentially creating entire videos where he exposed scams with the explicit goal of positioning his sponsors as the quote legit ones. This was extremely underhanded and preyed on the trust of his audience to peddle every type of con under the sun. Near the end of his video, CoffeeZilla added an extremely important message for Jake's viewers.
You, the audience, need to be aware that just because someone is calling out scams doesn't instantly make them trustworthy. I feel like a lot of people just drop their guard and just believe the next words out of someone's mouth just because they were the guy who caught out a scam.
Now, becoming the subject of a CoffeeZilla video should have been a wake-up call for Jake. He still had the chance to turn things around and redeem himself in the eyes of his most loyal long-term viewers. However, sadly, Jake thought it would be a good idea to double down. In an effort to justify his fraudulent sponsors, Jake went as far as to change the meaning of his older videos, implying that they were actually tutorials on how to be evil, not exposés on the most evil people and companies in the world.
Now, soon after this video came out, Jake got backlash from his community, and he finally responded to all the accusations. And honestly, I'm surprised. I was expecting a response somewhere along the lines of either, I didn't know it was a scam, or it's not a scam, but he didn't even try that. Quote, what did you expect out of a channel that teaches you to be evil? Lol. Now, I'll be honest, I clearly was fooled. I thought his whole series on evil business videos were exposés, but apparently it's a big to-do list. Like, I think Jake saw this all as a big WikiHow. He's the type of guy to think that the Wolf on Wall Street is like a checklist and not a cautionary tale.
The rest of his statement was a mixed bag of him trying to defuse the situation, making excuses for his actions, and telling his viewers to just ignore the sponsors if they don't like them. Reading, in all seriousness, I put my heart and soul into making free premium videos. Every sponsor on this channel helps fund this channel, so we can keep upping the quality and quantity. You're not gonna be the right fit for every sponsor on this channel, and that's okay. So if you don't like the sponsors, skip the ads, don't buy from them, or unsubscribe from the channel, and let the people who are the right fit for the sponsor use them. But I genuinely love and appreciate all of my sponsors because they allow me to do all of this for you guys. And most importantly, I love all of you more than you could ever realize. You've changed my life in every way possible. Lots of cool stuff coming as usual. We're gonna push forward as usual. However, the most telling part of this statement was how he ended it, by declaring, I apologize for nothing, smiley face. In the end, this response shredded the little credibility Jake had left, forcing his biggest fans to distance themselves from his content. And while his newer videos still get decent views, they're nowhere near what they could have been if Jake hadn't demolished his reputation for a quick buck. In contrast, MrBeast realized the error of his ways before it was too late, and is now more successful than ever. MrBeast is known for two things: being obnoxiously loud
Good game.
and being the biggest fan of Cristiano Ronaldo on the planet.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! I'm sorry. Oh my God! We're down.
So when, in November of 2022, fans tuned into Speed's stream to see Ronaldo sitting beside him, they were excited to say the least. Unfortunately, this excitement did not last long. The Ronaldo sitting beside Speed was just a lookalike, which was a major disappointment. However, what made this even worse was that this whole stream was an advertisement for the Paradox Metaverse, a blockchain-based ecosystem of games with a crypto token of its own. The fake Ronaldo was wearing a Paradox shirt, and their logo was even plastered on the wall behind Speed. Viewers did not like this one bit and started spamming scam in chat and even dissing Speed through text-to-speech.
You sold out. They're using you, Speed. This is just sad.
That is crazy, bro. Like, them comments like that, bro, is making me like, that's crazy, bro. The fact that I ever make like, chat, the fact that y'all just sticking me like that is just crazy. I hate that, bro. Y'all so weird, bro.
At one point, Speed even covered the camera to ask the owners of Paradox what he should do to turn things around, but he forgot to mute his mic.
So what do I do now? Bro, they're spending LCM.
Ultimately, he was unable to salvage the situation, and the stream ended in disaster. This is where CoffeeZilla decided to step in and investigate Paradox himself, and what he found was, well, unsurprising.
The project itself is a bit of a paradox to me. I mean, it looks like they are kind of putting real money behind this. They're investing in all these high-profile streamers, but it's just all done in such a scammy way. Why would anyone want a part of this? I mean, I know I wouldn't want 7 ways to join a Ponzi scheme.
CoffeeZilla also confronted the owners of the Paradox scam in a 2-hour stream, and as you might expect, they failed to provide a single straight answer. They kept trying to derail the conversation and confuse CoffeeZilla, and when that didn't work, they resorted to the childish tactic of essentially calling him a hater.
Now you guys have to understand, we're strategically getting attacked. Why? Because people like yourself that don't like Paradox, because people like yourself that don't like crypto, that's people like yourself that don't like play and earn games, because 90% of all crypto is a scam. That's your opinion. If you don't like it, shove it up your ass. No one cares.
This incident also caught the attention of Charlie, who had some very practical advice for Speed.
So I do absolutely think that he needs to pay more attention to this kind of shit. And he also needs people around him on his team that are old enough to rent a car and actually have experience in life that can look at things like this, go through it, and then decide if it's legitimate or not, and then relay that information to him. Because right now, it doesn't seem like he has that team. From the look of things, he's got a bunch of people around him that just care about money, like Mr. Krabs here, so it leads to absolute catastrophes like this.
He even gave Speed the benefit of the doubt for his young age and general inexperience.
And I do think that at the end of the day, Speed did get used here. He was exploited by this shady, shitty crypto company to shill their dog shit.
But he also clarified that this does not make Speed completely blameless for shilling a crypto scam to his audience of young, impressionable children. If handled incorrectly, this incident could have easily sunk Speed's career. However, unlike many other influencers, Speed realized his mistake and admitted to it without mumbling his words.
Stop spamming. I'm not a scammer, bro. Why do they keep spamming? Bro, I'm not a scammer, dog. I made a little mistake, you know, that I wish I never did, but I'm not a scammer, bro.
Now, I'm sure he must have gotten some crazy offers from other projects after this Paradox stream, but this was the last time Speed took a crypto-related sponsor, so he definitely learned his lesson. Sadly, no one was able to teach the same lesson to Ben Phillips, and judging from the views on his latest videos, he certainly needed it. Ben Phillips started his YouTube career on the 10th of February 2015, with a video titled Ben Phillips Trolley Thief Prank. As the title suggests, this was a prank video in which he tried to steal the trolleys of other customers to film their reaction. From there, he continued posting similar pranks on YouTube for several years. And while I'm personally not a fan of any pranks that involve harassing random people in public, I can see why they get a lot of views and why these types of videos boosted Ben to become one of the most recognizable YouTubers from the UK. To date, his channel has over 4.5 million subscribers and a staggering 1.2 billion views. However, his 9 years on YouTube haven't been controversy-free, because in 2022, Ben followed in the footsteps of many of his peers and started promoting a crypto token that turned out to be a pump and dump scheme. He would have gotten away with it as well, if not for CoffeeZilla's thorough investigation into his blockchain finances. In his video titled, "I Caught This YouTuber Scamming for $12 Million," CoffeeZilla revealed that the crypto token Ben was promoting was called SafeMoon, the very same token Jake Paul had been involved with.
Phillips. If you haven't seen me, I'm actually a YouTuber. I think it's absolutely incredible, you know, what's going down with the community themselves, being just like picked up on my Twitter and being like, yeah, safe moon, let's go.
However, promoting a shitty crypto coin without properly disclosing he was being paid wasn't even Ben's worst offense. He did something far worse. As CoffeeZilla uncovered in his investigation, Ben was actively manipulating his audience into believing SafeMoon was, well, destined to the moon, with now deleted tweets like, "Holy shit, #Doge new ATH and now SafeMoon on its way to hitting the new ATH tonight. Who's glad they holding?" However, while he was shilling for the coin on socials as the next big thing, he was also selling his own shares in massive chunks after practically every tweet.
He ends up getting paid several more times, a total of 5 trillion SafeMoon tokens for his services. But what was interesting was not when he got SafeMoon, but when he decided to sell it. We can check this using archived tweets from Ben Phillips' Twitter account, and we cross-reference that with the blockchain to see his financial activity at the same time. And here's what we found. A pattern of pumping and dumping SafeMoon, with on the one hand, positive tweets about SafeMoon, while at the same time Ben Phillips would be dumping the coins for a large profit onto the same people who rushed in to buy based on his tweets.
Here's how things went. He would tweet something positive about SafeMoon. This would cause more people to buy the coin due to the fear of missing out. A sudden influx of new buyers would raise the coin's price, and Ben would quickly sell a large chunk of the coins he received for the promotion before the price went back down.
For example, Ben Phillips tweeted, "Holy shit, Doge new all-time high and now SafeMoon on its way to hitting new all-time high tonight? Who's glad they holding? Not financial advice." That very same day, Ben sold $44,000. And these dumps escalate as we go further into April. On the 20th, he tweeted, "Diamond hands always win," and then tweeted again, "Fire sale." That same day, he sold 3 times for over $1 million. The next day, while tweeting about an all-time high, he said, "I feel bad for everyone who sold again." His next tweet, "I feel bad for everyone who sold." And then this, "Well, I'm holding." That same day, he sold 3 times again for over $500,000.
To give you an idea of just how effective this was, according to CoffeeZilla's calculations, Ben pocketed a whopping $12 million by scamming his viewers with a crypto token that had no future. And while he tried to keep this operation completely under wraps, he wasn't able to stop himself from bragging about his newfound wealth on Instagram.
And once Ben Phillips started making millions of dollars in such a short period of time, what does he do with that money? He starts spending it on stupid luxury items and bragging about it on Instagram, of course. For example, on May 21st, a month after making millions from pump and dumps, Ben Phillips suddenly buys his dream car, a quote, top of the fleet Rolls Royce. A month later, Ben is chartering private jets to Scotland for a birthday bite with his girlfriend of 3 years. He also can be seen bragging on Instagram about eating steak wrapped in 24-karat gold.
A comment under CoffeeZilla's video also pointed out that on regulated markets such as stock exchanges, a misconduct like this qualifies as market manipulation and is sanctioned by fines and prison sentences. Unfortunately, the laws surrounding crypto still haven't caught up to the modern climate. So Ben Phillips did not receive any legal repercussions after getting thoroughly exposed by CoffeeZilla. That said, his career as a whole has certainly fallen down the drain. There was a time when Ben was getting millions of views per video within days of its upload. In contrast, his most recent videos are struggling to crack the 100,000 views mark. This situation could be perfectly summed up by a comment I saw under one of his recent videos, which read, "Damn, I remember watching these every day 5 years ago, if not more." And from the looks of things, his financial situation hasn't gotten any better either. The last time he bragged about his expensive car on Instagram was over 1 year and 8 months ago. I guess karma is a thing after all. However, if MrBeast's recent claims are true, he might not need to worry about karma catching up with him. Unless you've been living under a rock for the past 5 months or so, you've likely heard about the many MrBeast controversies, including the Ava Chris Tyson allegations, the Dogpack 404 videos, the many issues with Beast games, the disastrous launch of Lunchly, and the allegations that Jimmy knew about Chris Tyson all along. I've covered most of these issues in my previous videos, so feel free to check them out if you're interested. However, as if all of this wasn't enough, Jimmy now faces 2 new allegations of insider trading and scamming his audience for millions of dollars through shady crypto tokens. The first of these came from Twitter user SomaXBT, who claimed that MrBeast allegedly made $10+ millions by backing low-cap IDO crypto tokens promoted by influencers like Lark Davis, Crypto Banter, KSI, and many others. Many of these projects are now down over 90%, with some rebranding after major losses. The second similar allegation is from an account named Casper Lock, which posted a tweet stating, "An investigation into MrBeast's crypto activities and how he profited over $23 million from a multitude of scams, shady deals, and his network." After coming across these allegations, CoffeeZilla went through them extensively and published his findings in a video simply titled Investigating MrBeast. And the results are a bit more complicated than simply labeling Jimmy as a scammer or absolving him of any wrongdoing.
Some of these allegations, I agree, are bad. Others, I think, are actually worse than have been reported. And still other allegations, I simply disagree with them on.
CoffeeZilla also reached out to Jimmy about these allegations, but instead of getting a personal reply from the man himself, he received a lawyer-approved statement from a spokesperson which read, "These investments were made and managed in consultation with industry experts to ensure full compliance with all appropriate rules and regulations. The wallet is not owned or managed by Jimmy, but rather a fund led by respected and sophisticated managers. The fund closely evaluated and scrutinized the efforts of hundreds and hundreds of opportunities, which resulted in several investments. Some have been more successful, others less, and others still works in progress. The fund's investment strategies apply the same rigorous standards as many other experienced investors in the field." It basically boils down to claim that Jimmy wasn't directly controlling the crypto wallets that were allegedly being used to scam his audience. Jimmy recently did an interview with Oompaville where he repeated the same claim, that he wasn't the one controlling those wallets.
To what extent were you involved in these crypto transactions, and how do you respond to CoffeeZilla's video on you detailing these allegations? I thought he gave you a benefit of the doubt in that video.
Yeah, I've never had access to that wallet. I've never done the buying and selling on that wallet. There's a actual professional who's written books on crypto and lived and breathes crypto every second of the day managing it. So most of the allegations there are just answered by I am too stupid to do that. That's why a fund was managing it, you know what I mean?
CoffeeZilla's investigation, however, showed this might not be true.
Huh. Well, this clip is very interesting because Jimmy said he made the decision to get CryptoPunks based on a call with Gary Vee. But those punks are owned by the wallet we just said was controlled by Jason. So it appears sometimes MrBeast is telling Jason what to buy for this fund. MrBeast then later talks about selling these CryptoPunks and rolling the money into a new project. And once again, it sounds like he's in. These clips, to me, make it difficult to assume MrBeast had no idea what's going on.
Unfortunately, even after going through every piece of evidence he could find, CoffeeZilla wasn't able to provide a conclusive answer.
Was it the genius of Jason Williams, MrBeast, or this fund that made them tens of millions of dollars? Maybe. Or was it the fact that the name they brought to the table was MrBeast, one of the most influential and valuable brands in the world? And that's what got them the great deals. That's what got them a bunch of eyeballs. That's what made it so valuable to have his name on these websites. And maybe that's what made the market. Ultimately, I think it's for you to decide.
So what do you think? Is MrBeast guilty of scamming his audience for millions? Or is this whole thing just a big misunderstanding? Let me know in the comments below. Despite MrBeast breaking his silence on his recent controversies, his brand is under more scrutiny than ever, with investigations into his crypto dealings leaving viewers with more questions than answers. Combined with concerns over his inconsistent transparency during his interview, it seems MrBeast still has a lot to answer before he can truly set the record straight.
A lot that I'm really not happy with. I think the answers were not satisfying. They were not good. There's a few times where we get close to an admission and then we just kind of back off from it from MrBeast's perspective.
For the last few months, I've uploaded several videos reporting the claims, allegations, and criticisms directed at MrBeast. From the initial shock of the Chris Tyson situation to the release of Dogpack's expose series. The MrBeast brand has almost entirely lost its golden child status on YouTube. MrBeast would give a response to the situation during a 2-hour interview with Oomperville, where he gave some clarity to a number of the most troubling allegations. Following this, I published a video examining said interview and hinted at a follow-up video examining the ramifications of MrBeast's response. And while the interview saw MrBeast take some accountability and make headway in repairing the reputation of his brand, there are still valid criticisms that were either glossed over or ignored. It's critical to highlight these overlooked details since their existence radically shifts the validity, severity, and credibility of the initial allegations made against MrBeast. Combine this with the release of new information and research which provides additional context to the situation, and one could argue these new details are just as important to report as the initial allegations, as well as being fundamental in understanding what the MrBeast brand is truly accountable for and why. And what better place to start finding that out than with their most vocal former employee, Dogpack404. Since he doesn't have any known social media accounts, there isn't much information on Dogpack's personal life or history. However, by his own admission, Dogpack has had a decade-long background in content creation and is used to being behind the scenes rather than in front of a camera. The first known instance of Dogpack going in front of a camera was during his 3-part series about MrBeast. The first video in the series, titled "I Worked for MrBeast, He's a Fraud," focused on Dogpack's connections to the MrBeast company as a former employee and presented allegations of misleading business practices as well as toxic work culture.
Hi, I wanted to provide some context to this video. I'm a former MrBeast employee, and today I am alleging that the company rigged videos and did illegal lotteries and sold fake signatures. I would consider that fraud, okay? Thank you, enjoy the video.
While most of his claims relied on publicly available videos as evidence, there were times when Dogpack presented himself as an insider with incriminating information about the MrBeast organization, even going as far as basing certain accusations on said information.
Okay, now as far as fake giveaways go, I'm sort of limited in what I can say without exposing confidential information and getting sued. So my official statement is that sometimes things slip through the cracks, and personally, I believe that is intentional.
This idea of Dogpack having exclusive information would become more apparent in part 2 and the now deleted part 3 of the MrBeast expose series. From interviewing former employees about their negative experiences to alleging horrific assault cases involving upper management, Dogpack painted the picture of an organization whose first reaction to misconduct or malpractice is to cover it up.
James Warren, also allegedly an ex-drug addict. I've heard that he offered hookers to editors to stay late. And then the really big thing is that there was some incident between him and a female colleague that resulted in the female colleague leaving the company and receiving 3 years in severance pay. I'm still actively looking into this incident, so if you have information, let me know. But I've heard from multiple credible sources that this is true and this did happen.
As intense as the allegations were, MrBeast wasn't the only one being put under the microscope. In the weeks and months after the expose series was published, people began questioning the validity of Dogpack's claims. Not only was it later revealed that Dogpack had only worked at the MrBeast company for less than a month, but many of his early accusations and insider information weren't as sold as he made them out to be. Some good examples of this are how Dogpack claims that CSAM was being shared in work group chats, but was later revealed to be a GQ magazine cover, and his claims of MrBeast's secret CEO being violent were based on wrong court documents.
I went into it thinking he had done that, okay? I went into it thinking he did it, and I'm just gonna have to find the paperwork for it. I searched and searched and searched, and there was one case number I looked into. Again, I could probably make a whole video on this, but suffice it to say that I do not think that the case number that is associated with this picture right here, and I told Dawson this, and that's why he said this in the video, I do not think that this particular case is the same James Warren. For many reasons, like I said, I did a few hours of research just into this case alone.
As soon as these dominoes fell, it was only a matter of time before people began noticing other issues in Dogpack's narrative. By the 16th of November 2024, the YouTuber Soggy Cereal would upload a nearly 2-hour-long video highlighting the dubious nature of Dogpack's narrative and the evidence he used to support it.
After he called me overdramatic for not wanting to spread serious accusations with unsubstantiated and easily refutable evidence, as well as because he tried to silence me with threats of slander after I started suspecting him of lying. So in this video, I will be debunking close to every accusation he and the people he manipulated have made.
While Soggy's video tackled almost all of Dogpack's accusations, I want to focus on 3 key points that show just how much misinformation was in the original expose series. 1. MrBeast hiring Delaware, 2. Illegal lottery allegations, and 3. Manipulating challenges. To fully understand the Delaware situation, Soggy would reach out to another former MrBeast employee who explained that Delaware's nickname precedes his employment at the MrBeast company and isn't a result of being a registered offender.
According to a non-anonymous MrBeast employee, Dustin Harris, who has been working at MrBeast for about 6 years, he explained that Delaware was once a store manager at Jimmy's local Best Buy, which, for the people who don't know, Best Buy is a $20 billion valued electronics retailer company with stores all over the US. I mean that when Jimmy was 19 and first started blowing up on YouTube, Jimmy realized he needed employees to improve his content. So, as a dumbass, impulsive 19-year-old randomly thrown into fame, he went to his local Best Buy and asked its employees if they wanted to work for him. Naively thinking that a multi-billion-dollar company would have at least made sure to not hire criminals and especially to not hire a registered offender.
Hiring Delaware was a mistake on Jimmy's end, but it wasn't as malicious as Dogpack made it out to be.
Was that stupid? Yes. Is Delaware a piece of shit? Yes. Should Jimmy take responsibility for making that mistake? Yes. But it wasn't this fucked up master plan by Jimmy to intentionally hire an RSO. It was a dumb mistake by an inexperienced adolescent starting up a business. But a shred of research, you'd find this still publicly available almost 7-year-old video on the MrBeast channel where you can see Delaware as the Best Buy store manager before he was hired at MrBeast.
As for the illegal lottery claims, Soggy would point out how Dogpack manipulated and obscured key evidence to suit his narrative.
Illegal lottery by sure to be in a video live stream. Dogpack claims they only informed people on the website that no purchase was necessary. But did you read the description? You know, the description which I got via the Wayback Machine, where it literally says free entry available on site? Oh, but wait, you never actually found the description of that video, did you? You just made it look that way by doctoring up this fake YouTube UI.
With regards to MrBeast allegedly manipulating challenges, Soggy would highlight some videos from said former contestants that would go directly against Dogpack's claims.
Collateral damage doesn't end with allegedly abused children. He also uses old people. For example, he tried using contestant 58 from the ages 1 to 100 video by claiming that he didn't really wink.
In this video, this wink was added in post.
And that number 58 didn't hear number 42 getting out of the booth.
In fact, 58 was actually on the far opposite side of the room from 42 and he just didn't hear him.
And because of that, number 58, a 58-year-old man, was so confused and getting harassed online to the point he felt that he had to make a TikTok about it.
Something's really been concerning me a little bit. I've been seeing things on the internet that have said I didn't wink in the MrBeast video 1 to 100. I did wink. I winked a few times, as a matter of fact. The other thing that's been said is I didn't hear 42 say he was stepping out of his cube. Yes, I heard 42 say he was stepping out of his cube. I did it on my own accord to step out with 2 seconds left on the clock.
As well as showing how Dogpack lied about certain contestants not getting fair compensation.
He won $1 million and then made a video after winning that prize, which Dogpack just took a very out of context clip from.
Another example of things slipping through the cracks.
I talked to Jimmy after I won $1 million, after I finally got the remaining amount in my bank account. I was telling him, I was like, man, I don't want to fail. I don't want to be like how everybody's saying, like I'm gonna run out of money and do all this crazy stuff. I was like, man, Jimmy, please help me. And he said he was gonna help me and we was gonna invest, but yeah, that didn't happen. So
oh no, he didn't invest for Mark. Oh wait, what's this clip right after, which Dogpack conveniently didn't put in his video?
Invest, but yeah, that didn't happen. So yeah, and let me clarify, Jimmy did help me.
Soggy would even go as far as flying out to MrBeast's office in North Carolina to interview current MrBeast employees about the allegations and the man spreading them.
Screenshot of messages he had between you and him. Can you just verify that these are real? These are...
Yes,
yeah, okay,
those
so
messages are between me and Dawson.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a bit about your relationship with Dawson during both of you guys working there?
Me and Dawson were cordial, like I try to keep it professional. I think he tried his best to keep it professional, but I will say it was a little uncomfortable with just me and him in the office. He seemed pretty disinterested in making genuine connections with people at the company. He gave weird vibes for sure. It seemed like he had no respect for Hoodie. He didn't take any of Hoodie's advice. It seemed like he didn't think he knew what Hoodie was doing.
While the video proved to be instrumental in adding a broader perspective to the controversy and dispelling many of Dogpack's lies or false information, Soggy's credibility was also put on the line as creators inquired about the logistics of his interview with the MrBeast team, where it was revealed that a member of the MrBeast team actually paid for his flights, which resulted in an unnecessary conflict of interest, as realistically, this all could have been done by a Zoom call.
You obviously flew to America, right?
Yeah.
Did you cover those costs yourself, or did MrBeast in any way pay?
I'm gonna be honest on that. So I offered to do interviews to Dustin. He said that he wanted to do an interview and maybe try to ask some other employees if they wanted to do interviews. Dustin, as far as I know, paid for those, and not on a MrBeast card, because when I got at like the hotel, which they said that it was on the card of like literally his name, like his personal card, not non-company cards.
With all that being said, and to the large amount of provably false claims, why did everyone believe Dogpack in the first place? For one, Dogpack's video was published at the time when MrBeast's reputation was already under fire for his connection to Ava Chris Tyson. While the scrutiny around that situation was justified, it created a shift in MrBeast's public perception that Dogpack could use to his advantage. He even alluded to it during the intro of his first expose video.
I recorded this before the Chris stuff came out. I was also going to come out about the Chris stuff probably in part 2 or 3, because I see a lot of people saying like, oh, if you knew, why didn't you come forward? Why didn't you go to the authorities? Well, I was going to come forward, and also like going to the authorities isn't going to work, because what are you going to say? Like, you heard rumors that this person is this way, or that, you know, there's obviously evidence of like the Shad-based stuff, like that's been out for a while. People have internally known at the company that like Chris is kind of a potential minors attracted person, and the company protects her, or they were protecting her, and they protected her as long as they could. Jimmy knew, everyone knew, so.
In addition, Dogpack was the first former MrBeast employee to present so many serious allegations all at once, which naturally drew people's attention. The possibility that Dogpack had genuine insider secrets made it almost impossible to outright dismiss his claims without more context and evidence. Things become even more complicated when you factor in the highly curated and seemingly well-researched narrative Dogpack's videos presented. From claims of toxic work culture to accusations of manipulating challenges, Dogpack had skillfully constructed the internet's worst fears about the MrBeast brand. Then there was the assumption that no one would put in so much effort to make a video that could put them in legal trouble if they didn't have proof. Lastly, Dogpack wasn't making these claims alone, as he would later include other testimony and statements from other current and former MrBeast employees. While a majority of these employees were anonymous, in-person interviews like the one with Jake Weddle bolstered the credibility of Dogpack's allegations. This gave the audience the impression that Dogpack's expose series wasn't born out of personal grievance, but rather a much deeper and wider-reaching problem with the MrBeast organization. All of these factors ultimately created the perfect platform for Dogpack to spread an extremely believable narrative across the internet. Have you ever tried canceling a subscription only to waste hours navigating confusing menus or dealing with customer service? That happened to me recently, and I knew there had to be a better way. That's where today's sponsor Rocket Money comes in. Rocket Money is an all-in-one personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better, all in one place. After connecting my accounts, Rocket Money immediately identified all my subscriptions, even ones I forgot I had. With just a couple taps, I was able to cancel the ones I no longer needed. It saved me so much time and hassle. Rocket Money can also help negotiate your internet bill. Their team does all the work to try and get you the best rate so that you don't have to deal with the awkward customer service calls. On top of that, the app makes budgeting easy. You can create custom budgets, track your spending, and even set savings goals to reach your financial dreams faster. Take control of your finances today. Go to rocketmoney.com/internetanarchist or click the link in the description to try it for free. With that being said, let's get back into the video. However, that isn't to say all of Dogpack's claims were without merit. His points about the MrBeast crew forging Jimmy's signature during the giveaway live stream streams, the company's shady marketing tactics aimed at kids involving gambling, and the HR incident involving LaKoya Hill are all still loose ends that need to be addressed. Unfortunately, these wouldn't be the only lingering questions around the MrBeast controversy, as yet another set of damning allegations were taking root. On the 14th of November 2024, CoffeeZilla uploaded a video titled Investigating MrBeast, which uncovered some concerning details about Jimmy's alleged crypto schemes.
I investigated MrBeast, who was recently accused of making $23 million with insider trading and scams. I wanted to know the full story, so I reached out to everyone, from researchers to crypto projects, even to MrBeast himself. And let me say, the story is more complicated than you think. I want to be clear, what MrBeast did, what his team did, is shady. But what we care about is, did he cross that bright red line from shady to illegal scam? And contrary to what Twitter says, I don't think that's an easy answer.
CoffeeZilla would go on to showcase instances of MrBeast profiting off pre-sale crypto projects like Super Token, Eternity Chain, and XCAD Network in almost an insider trading fashion. Looking at his involvement with Super, CoffeeZilla stated MrBeast had invested $100,000 in the token's pre-sale and later made $11 million in profit following tweets he made responding to the token's founder, Elio Trades.
Starting with Super. This is the project MrBeast is alleged to have made the most amount of money on, over $10 million based on a pre-sale of $100,000. As for evidence, we have leaked screenshots showing MrBeast telling Super's founder that he can do $100K. Then we have a wallet that both investigations trace to MrBeast, sending $100K to the pre-sale wallet. And then we have the same wallets getting millions of these Super tokens in a period of unlocks, which were almost all sold aggressively. Now, why is this bad? Well, MrBeast is obviously hugely influential, and he publicly associated himself with the project twice. Once on March 3rd, 2021, he responded to a tweet with eyeball emojis, and then he interacted a second time on May 12th, 2021. This is much worse. The founder, Elio Trades, had tweeted, "There's a gym sitting there on the market at eye-watering prices, set to explode during the DeFi Summer 2.0. MrBeast's response, Super? But what he doesn't say is that he'd already purchased a huge stake in Super at this point, and on the day that he's tweeting, he was selling tokens, allegedly. Not only that, he had been selling tokens and continued to sell tokens. In the 72 hours after the May 12th tweet, MrBeast sold about $200,000 worth of these tokens.
When questioned about his involvement with the token and his connection to the crypto wallets listed, MrBeast refused to give CoffeeZilla a straight answer.
Now, I ran these wallets by MrBeast, as well as the accusation, but I didn't get a reply. Instead, I got a heavily lawyered statement from a spokesman, who I'm going to warn you is about to complicate things. Quote, "These investments were made and managed in consultation with industry experts to ensure full compliance with all appropriate rules and regulations. The wallet is not owned or managed by Jimmy, but rather a fund led by respected and sophisticated managers. The fund closely evaluated and scrutinized hundreds and hundreds of opportunities, which resulted in several investments. Some have been more successful, others less, and others still works in progress. The fund's investment strategies apply the same rigorous standards as many other experienced investors in the field." Now, I have a lot of questions, but the big thing is Jimmy denies doing any of the trading or managing the trading and blames it on a fund. So I asked some obvious follow-up questions. What is the name of this fund? Who are the industry experts? And what rules and regulations were followed that allowed you to tweet about a coin while your fund is selling? I didn't get a response.
This response might lead us to believe that MrBeast wasn't directly involved with the day-to-day activities of the fund, but that seems less likely when you look into how he talks about his crypto dealings.
Just when I thought MrBeast might have no say in what this wallet did, I saw this podcast with Logan Paul, where Jimmy discusses CryptoPunks once again, and things get
a bunch.
Wait.
Yeah, I bought quite a few.
How many?
I don't want to say, but I bought multiple ones. Yeah.
Well, bro, are you in double digits, Punks?
Just shy.
Moving over to Eternity, CoffeeZilla claims MrBeast's fund allegedly sold $2 million worth of earned tokens during an NFT charity auction organized by the network and Team C's.
2-month charity auction on November 30th, 2021, the Rocket Fund or Beast Fund or whatever you want to call it starts selling huge amounts of this earn token. Allegedly, they sold over $2 million, while the charity itself was still going on. Now, I know that sounds horrible. It looks horrible. It is horrible. Although I have to tell you, personally, I don't think this was a master plan to pump a coin with a charity auction. If it was the plan, it was a bad one because the NFT auction was ultimately a flop. But do I also think it doesn't matter because regardless of your intentions, selling tokens within a month of your 2-month charity auction is wrong, stupid, and unethical? Yes, I think that as well. Because in case you forgot, MrBeast is the charity guy whose name is on the website. It isn't a fund. It isn't a crypto rocket fund. It's MrBeast's branding.
While you could argue MrBeast profiting off Super and Eternity while they were being promoted by his brand was a mere coincidence, the same couldn't be said for XCAD. According to CoffeeZilla, this was a token that MrBeast's fund invested in and flipped early, a decision that went against the terms set by the project's founder, Oliver Bell.
Like with Super and Earn, MrBeast's fund sold a lot of their XCAD early in 2021, rather than holding their tokens. And this was surprising to even the founder of XCAD himself, Oliver Bell, who said they told him they were going to do the opposite. He tells me, quote, "Hey, so MrBeast reached out to me during our pre-sale raise. A group was set up with his team, and we had a call with his team, and they said they liked the concept. There was no strings attached to the investment. They did, however, want a lot bigger ticket than what I offered them, which I'm glad I did not fulfill. We discussed not just flipping this token, as this can damage projects if people have decent sized tickets. It was my understanding we were aligned on this. However, after listing to which XCAD performed well, there was heavy dumping from a wallet linked to MrBeast's team. I got in contact with them immediately and asked them why they were selling like this." Now, Oliver later claims this discussion about flipping tokens and them being aligned about the fact they're not going to flip these tokens so quickly was with Jason. And apparently, Oliver was so upset about what happened, he DM'd Jimmy directly, quote, explaining his team will ruin his reputation.
While this investigation didn't outright state MrBeast had done anything illegal, it did raise several tough ethical questions about influencer responsibility. After all, the MrBeast brand was openly involved with or acknowledged all of these projects and then secretly made trades on them in the background. Not to mention MrBeast's ambiguous response to questions about who has control over the fund. Even though CoffeeZilla couldn't get a response to these questions during his interview, he managed to get some answers out of MrBeast during his interview with Oomperville.
I secretly interviewed MrBeast after he refused to answer my questions in my investigation a few days ago. Now we have Oomperville, who MrBeast decided to do the tell-all interview with, and I was able to ask a handful of follow-up questions. I think it was 2 or 3 questions at the end of the video through Oomperville. I just wrote up a Google Doc because I had a feeling that they weren't going to be properly addressed.
When asked about who truly controls the wallets, MrBeast would sidestep the question by focusing on unnecessary details.
If it was your decision, you know, if semantically, if what you're talking about on the podcast, if it was your decision, your trading decision to buy and sell the punks or VFriends, even though you didn't press the buttons, was it actually your decision? It still, to me, would mean that you had control of those trading decisions.
Yeah, these are good questions. Actually, I'm glad we're doing this follow-up thing so we can also just put all this stuff out there. So, yeah, I did say that in the podcast, and I obviously did not press the buttons like I've been saying. I didn't pick what punks to buy or anything. Gary Vee, like I said on that podcast, called me and a bunch of other people, said crypto punks were the next big thing. I thought it was pretty crazy, but, you know, the first thing I did right after that is just called the guy in charge of the fund who invested my money and it's other people's money as well, and just said, hey, Gary Vee seemed very passionate about these punks. You should look into it. If it makes sense, buy it. And so, you know, he did the research, picked what punks to buy, bought them. That's kind of high level how it went. But, you know, if he was like, oh, this is a shit investment.
This statement directly contradicts how MrBeast presented his investment discussion on the podcast. Back then, he made it look like he had the final say over what NFTs were purchased. But now, he's making it seem like he never had that decision-making power.
Well, which is it? I feel like if he's telling the truth now, then he was just blatantly lying then. And if he was telling the truth then, he's blatantly lying now or just trying to distance himself from this. I feel like I understand why, because the more he was kind of directing Jason, obviously the worse all of this stuff looks. But I think it's impossible to get away from the fact that MrBeast in 2021 was clearly in some type of contact with this fund that was not normal. This is not a normal, I'm going to give my money to a financial advisor and I don't make any of the decisions. He clearly was directing some of the strategy.
to say, hey, go get CryptoPunks, and then to go move your money into VeeFriends because Gary Vee says so. For Gary Vee to then give MrBeast a gift to the fund, like it's all very strange. And I feel like the frustration here is the fact that anytime there's a problem, it's all the fund. I did nothing. I had nothing to do with it, etc. But when you actually look at these investments were all talking about Jimmy.
In addition to this, MrBeast downplays the impact of his tweets about Super and tries to make it seem like it was just a casual tweet.
Why did you not disclose that you had a vested interest in the coin that you were tweeting about? Super ? Yeah, we'll start there.
Well, I replied to a tweet, so I did tweet it out, and I think a lot of people.
Wait, you did tweet it out? You reply? This is such a weird distinction. You'll see multiple times he kind of goes like, he'll engage with something that's not really the criticism. The criticism is, well, why didn't you just disclose you had tons of Super? And you'll see he bends over backwards to not answer that question.
People, that are just getting second hands of the story think I literally tweet out, go buy Super, go buy Super. Yeah, the fund did hold some Super. And I just saw that was the owner of Super, the guy who made the coin. And I just went scrolling through Twitter, just replied Super to his tweet. I did not tell people to buy Super.
Regardless of the intent behind the tweets, MrBeast already had a vested interest in Super, and failing to disclose that could be seen as unethical. What's even more unsettling is just how he blurs the lines between ethical charity auction and an easy crypto cash out when responding to CoffeeZilla's last question.
This one's a lot more complicated. And involves a lot of stuff. So I mean, maybe you would want to reconvene with like receipts or evidence or whatever. But it's the crypto charity stuff. Team C's Eternity.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that one. Eternity gave us NFTs to auction off for Team C's. Only one sold after a day, I believe, and that was it. And then it looks like the fund sold like 27 days later, a little bit of Eternity.
MrBeast didn't want to acknowledge the massive ethical concerns that come with selling $2 million worth of a token linked to a charity he was promoting. Instead, he wants to rely on the fund excuse and undermines the public trust given to someone with such a clean and charitable image.
This was the craziest part of the interview, in my opinion. It's such a layup answer. Yes, I'm the charity guy. I'm expected to be held to high standards. Anything that makes me look like I'm abusing a charity is bad. So I feel really bad. I shouldn't have done it. No matter if the charity flopped, it was a big problem. Instead, he says, oh, we sold after the charity. The one NFT sold. Not true. Then he said, we only sold a few tokens. Also not true. They sold $2 million. And then on top of that, here's where you can actually see the dates of all this stuff. You can see the offer was made on November 2nd. Is that what he's referring to when he says, oh, we sold it? But because that's not actually true. The sale did not happen until December 23rd, 2021, after the fund sold. So this whole idea he's going to say multiple times where he's going to go, oh, we didn't sell anywhere near the charity time. First of all, that's not true. Second of all, it's just literally false, and NFT sold after the fact. So this whole defense of his is based on misinformation.
Naturally, the community wasn't going to tolerate MrBeast's lack of basic transparency and accountability when responding to such a serious case, and demanded he take responsibility for the trades.
But yeah, there's not much to glean out of this other than it always just defaults to the fund, okay? Now again, if you're the charity guy, you should be pretty upfront. You should pretty much bring up to none of these like charity related crypto transactions should have even occurred. Even if it was the fund or him or whatever, should just never have happened, okay? It's really fucking shady when you see, the charity guy, all right, and you see, now you see the fund that the charity guy is associated to, basically profiting pretty heavily during a period or, around the period of a charity drop. It's insane. It's wild. And the way that he responds to it is like the most corporate PR level response. You don't really glean much out of it other than this is not a real person, okay? It's insane.
And while MrBeast has now addressed many allegations, providing evidence about Delaware, explaining his CGI usage, and clarifying the crypto trading situation, several legitimate concerns remain. His explanations, though detailed, sometimes conflict with past actions, like his public engagement with NFTs despite claiming professional management over his crypto activities. His position as both a creator and the face of a massive corporation creates an impossible standard. Corporate responses like potential legal action against Dogpack and and third-party investigations come off as cold and calculated. Yet, when he responds personally, like privately sharing debunking videos with other creators, it can appear unprofessional or defensive. The media ecosystem around MrBeast makes this all worse. Sensationalized expose content garners more views than balanced criticism, creating a cycle where legitimate concerns get buried under exaggerated claims. Even when he provides clear evidence against allegations, the viral nature of controversy often drowns out the truth. This leaves MrBeast in a lose-lose situation, unable to satisfy the demands for both corporate accountability and creator authenticity, no matter how he responds. An often overlooked aspect of this controversy is how anyone involved in covering it on a deeper level could have their credibility and reputation put on the line. After Soggy uncovered the Holes in Dogpack's expose series, members of the audience began questioning his motives and assumed his paid flight to North Carolina was compensation from the MrBeast team. Something similar happened with Oomperville, when people criticized him for doing a quote, poor job interviewing MrBeast, despite having literally no time to prepare for it. No matter how you look at it, the stakes of the MrBeast controversy are astronomically high. On one side, you could see one of the most criticized creators on the internet restore their reputation with a well-orientated response and accountability, while on the other hand, MrBeast could destroy all the goodwill his brand built if he neglects to be 100% transparent. If you want to find out more about the interview MrBeast did with Oomperville, then click the video on screen. Logan Paul has officially exposed his true motives for suing CoffeeZilla, and in doing so, severely crippled his chances of winning the defamation lawsuit.
Zilla will pay, one way or another, I'll make sure of it, just to make his life difficult.
Bro, you're a billionaire.
A petty billionaire.
Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be uncovering the recent developments in the CoffeeZilla vs. Logan Paul lawsuit, how it's going, what's been revealed in the latest filings, and how it could fundamentally change the YouTube landscape when it's all said and done. I think everyone watching is more than familiar with the ongoing legal battle between Logan Paul and CoffeeZilla. However, if you're not all caught up, here's a super brief overview of what's going on. Almost 2 years after CoffeeZilla released a 3-part documentary covering the infamous CryptoZoo project that cost users millions, Logan went through with his initial threats of legal action and filed a lawsuit against CoffeeZilla, reading, as a direct and proximate result of the publication of the false and defamatory January 5th, 2024 YouTube video, Paul has suffered damages including injury to reputation, embarrassment, humiliation, emotional distress, and economic damages, in an amount to be determined at trial. Anyone who knew the story behind their feud over CryptoZoo could tell that the lawsuit wasn't filed over genuine damages, but as a means of getting revenge against the one man who was bold enough to document and expose all of his lies. After all, Logan didn't fulfill his promise to finish the CryptoZoo game, nor did he refund egg holders, and to make matters even worse, he was facing a class action lawsuit spearheaded by attorney Tom over the project. Going after CoffeeZilla with a defamation lawsuit over factual events could suggest that Logan wanted to either make an example of him, silence him, bankrupt him with legal fees, or all three. While all these factors are at play, examining the case files not only reveals a much more sinister plan from Logan, but also a game-changing move from CoffeeZilla that could potentially demolish the lawsuit. To fully understand the lawsuit's progression, we have to know the underlying processes both parties have to go through by law. They include 1. Pleadings, 2. Discovery, 3. Motions, 4. Trial, and 5. Appeals if necessary. For the sake of this video, we'll only be focusing on the discovery process and the motions filed in the case. Regarding discovery, Logan and CoffeeZilla are required by the courts to hand over relevant documents, media, and recordings that could help prove or disprove the basis of the lawsuit. To prevent certain private or sensitive information from getting leaked to the public, both parties in the lawsuit agreed to a joint confidentiality order. This means that no matter how damaging the information they find out about Logan, if it's deemed confidential, it won't be reported on by CoffeeZilla and will be redacted in public documents. This veil of confidentiality and the necessary discovery process gave Logan the perfect avenue to demand particular communication between CoffeeZilla and a yet-to-be-named third party in the CryptoZoo case. Reading, plaintiff Logan Paul moves this court to compel defendants to produce all communications between Paul and others regarding Paul's involvement involvement with the CryptoZoo project that defendants possessed when they published the libels at the issue in this case. Essentially, Logan wanted to see everything that went into planning the CryptoZoo documentary, and argued that it was a key part of proving CoffeeZilla maliciously produced the documentary. In response, CoffeeZilla's legal team argued that said communications were protected by Texas's journalistic privileges and the First Amendment. They even went as far as pointing out previous instances when Logan requested these communications but refused to abide by their request regarding his communications, with the document stating, "Defendants proposed a simple solution that preserves the privilege. Paul can ask CoffeeZilla in a deposition whether he has certain documents or information Paul believes support his claim that CoffeeZilla acted with actual malice." Defendants also offered to review Paul's production and identify which documents CoffeeZilla also has. Ironically, as Logan was trying to get information out of CoffeeZilla, he was filing motions to protect his own private communication from being made public. Logan's goal during discovery was to protect his secrets at all costs, while he was trying to gather as much information on CoffeeZilla as he could. Sadly, that strategy would be his undoing. It would later be revealed that the individual Logan was trying to get communications about was none other than attorney Tom. To make matters worse, after the judge looked over their communication in person, he granted CoffeeZilla and attorney Tom's motion, but denied Logan's. By going after them so directly, Logan had stupidly linked this defamation lawsuit to the class action lawsuit, and opened the door for the CoffeeZilla side to make some actual critical connections. On the 15th of April 2025, CoffeeZilla's attorney would file a motion to stay and transfer the venue of the case. Essentially, they wanted to pause all the court proceedings until the court confirms the connection between the cases and merges litigations with Logan's other CryptoZoo lawsuit. Their reasoning for bringing forth this motion were threefold. One, to make the litigation more efficient due to the overlap in the premise and evidence of both cases. Two, Logan was using the lawsuit not to gain compensation, but as a way to punish CoffeeZilla. And three, Logan was trying to use the defamation case to obtain information about the other pending lawsuits. With the document reading, "Unable to obtain discovery with the Holland case effectively, stayed while the court considered motions to dismiss. Paul strategically filed this lawsuit to punish the reporter who helped uncover his cryptocurrency scam and gain discovery to defend himself in the pending civil proceedings." Regarding the second point, CoffeeZilla's attorney provides some very concerning text messages from Logan made prior to filing the lawsuit, reading, "Lawyering up, suing this MFer into the ground. Then everything will come out. Court docs are public." As well as, "So everyone will see what happened for better or for worse." Logan obviously didn't take into account how bad things were about to get for him, as the next set of text messages reveal just how devastating CoffeeZilla's coverage was, reading, "There's a price to pay. That's the idea. I see the momentum building because the throne is being shook right now," as well as, "Need to shut it down." He even admits the entire purpose of the lawsuit was, quote, "just to make his life difficult." If any of these statements didn't sink his lawsuit, claiming he's a, quote, "petty billionaire," definitely did. These receipts not only wreck Logan's reputation publicly, or at least what was left of it, but also damage the strength of his arguments in court. When you look at how desperately Logan was trying to get information out of CoffeeZilla, the connection between the two lawsuits becomes almost impossible to ignore. Both cases rely on the same claims and need to answer the same fundamental question of whether or not Logan scammed CryptoZoo users. Getting information from CoffeeZilla was the quickest way he could bolster his legal defense, and when you take into note the timing of the case, Logan's motives become undeniable. In Texas, the state the case was filed, there is a 1-year statute of limitation for defamation claims. Logan didn't file his lawsuit until June 2024, which means he couldn't cite CoffeeZilla's original 3-part series and had to go after him for more recent claims. This implies that he wasn't ready or willing to sue CoffeeZilla initially, and only found a reason to do so recently. Looking at everything broadly, it seems the reason was the Holland lawsuit. Logan effectively started one lawsuit to end the other, and ended up biting off more than he could chew. Logan's hasty attitude to the case has given CoffeeZilla the perfect opportunity to either end the case sooner or have it litigated alongside the more serious class action lawsuit. However, winning isn't CoffeeZilla's only concern. Having sufficient funding to ride out the case was also a concern. The process of going through all the necessary documents during the discovery will require require tens or hundreds of billable hours from his legal team, and that's if they're just looking over the necessary documents. Knowing Logan, he could prolong the case by flooding CoffeeZilla's legal team with unnecessary documents during discovery. To prevent that from happening, CoffeeZilla's legal team initially opted for the quicker way to end the case through a settlement in mediation, and was given a deadline of the 26th of June 2025 to conclude it with Logan's side. While a mediator isn't the one to give a final verdict on the case, involving one could speed up the legal process and reduce legal costs for everyone involved. Fortunately, CoffeeZilla's side was a more effective way to conclude the case, and one could only hope the judge agrees with them. It goes without saying, but every step of the legal process is expensive, and the more steps Logan adds to the process, the worse it gets for CoffeeZilla. At some point, you wonder if Logan is even trying to win the case, or instead going for a game of trying to drain CoffeeZilla's bank account. Prolonging the case not only keeps CoffeeZilla from reporting about him, but also hurts his biggest critic financially. If CoffeeZilla loses or is bankrupted by legal fees, Logan and other crypto scammers would become even more of a problem, and have more confidence to take advantage of their fans. On the other hand, if CoffeeZilla wins, his victory wouldn't just extend to the class action lawsuit, but to any journalist that reports on crypto scams. Influencers like Logan Paul would be held accountable, and fans that lost their money would be made whole. Reporting on a wealthier and more litigious influencer wouldn't be viewed as a possibly career-ending move, but as a necessary action. Not to mention the fact that this case will be cited in future lawsuits as case law, and will potentially protect other journalists who might face a similar weaponized lawsuit. Whichever way the case concludes, it will certainly cascade throughout the online world and dictate how we handle such high-profile scams going forward. When Logan initially filed this lawsuit, he must have assumed it would be a walk in the park, but judging by his recent motion to keep his text messages confidential, it seems he's starting to regret it. With the document reading, it is apparent that those materials have no relevance to the motion or defendant's arguments, and instead were almost certainly filed for the sole and improper purpose of providing defendants with an excuse to advocate for their public disclosure in order to harm and embarrass plaintiff. Logan's ever-expanding ego led him to assume he could get away with robbing his fans and suing CoffeeZilla. Unfortunately, that same ego blinded him to just how poorly planned his case was. Now, he's not only facing 2 lawsuits that he's unlikely to win, but is getting his brand torn to pieces publicly, and has no one to blame for it except himself. Exposing Logan Paul and FTX was about following the money, but this final investigation was about exposing the matrix itself. If you thought those crypto scams were elaborate, wait until you see how CoffeeZilla dismantled the financial engine behind the self-proclaimed most famous man on the planet, Andrew Tate. It goes without saying, but Andrew Tate's online career has been riddled with controversial situations, from accusations of promoting misogyny to human trafficking charges. Andrew has been helped and harmed by his controversial reputation, allowing him to build a massive cult following that thrives on his divisive persona. However, one misstep in the crypto space and an attempt to take advantage of his audience has made Andrew the target of YouTube's resident crypto crime buster, CoffeeZilla.
I'm not Logan Paul. I'm not somebody who is already hated and everyone's looking for a reason to jump on the bandwagon. I'm built different. I'm loved. Nobody likes you. Nobody's scared of your investigation. Your emails sound gay. I accidentally leaked your email address. Now everyone's calling you gay. I regret nothing I've ever done. Suck my daddy to the moon.
CoffeeZilla's recent investigation into Andrew's crypto exploits isn't the first time he's covered the influencer for using manipulative tactics to profit from viewers. In fact, back in August of 2022, CoffeeZilla uploaded a video titled, "I joined Andrew Tate's cult and it was worse than I thought," which outlined the insidious strategy behind Andrew's Hustler University.
Now, if you're wondering what business strategy that is, or even what business this guy's in, turns out he's one of these male success gurus.
Despite the course being mostly made up of generic advice that you could get from anywhere, Andrew managed to get and keep over 100,000 members with these 3 core principles: extreme showmanship, making outlandish promises, and employing shaming tactics. Concerning the extreme showmanship, Andrew would make either inflammatory statements that triggered people or flex his wealth to entice fans to join his program.
You think you're smart? I bought this coin and it's going up. You could have bought any Bitcoin and it went up in the last year. The matrix was broken. Hustlers University is the greatest thing that exists on the face of the planet for people who are trying to escape the matrix. Become Hustlers University. Welcome to the metaverse. Inject it into your brain. You can skip university, you can buy my program, and I guarantee you will know everything you need to know. Have you ever seen a college professor with an S63 and a McLaren and a Lambo and an Aston Martin standing next to a Porsche? No, you've never seen any of this. I know how to make stuff.
When it came to making outlandish promises, Andrew would boast about how his university is the only way you'll ever escape the quote matrix, and use his success as a benchmark for what you'll achieve. In reality, the students of his course were making nowhere near six-figure incomes, but that didn't stop Andrew from bragging about it. If any of his students tried to leave for any reason, Andrew would use every form of emotional manipulation to shame them into staying. The Tates would even go as far as blaming the students for not making enough money from the course to even renew their subscription.
Unsubscribed to get my mother a birthday present, but I resubscribed the next month. I don't believe that. I don't believe you. And I also think if you were a member of Hustlers University for a month and you didn't make enough money to buy your mother a birthday present, you f***ed up. So you're probably going to end up kicked out.
Like, their two responses are, that's not true, and even if it is, it's your fault anyways. Which I find amazing. It couldn't be the program, right, guys?
Not long after the video was published, Andrew would make a very salty response to CoffeeZilla on a live stream.
And now, actually, one recent hit video came out by a guy called CoffeeZilla, who I actually kind of respected, thought had a brain, but whatever. I want to debate him. I want to talk to that guy. But he was like, I joined, and there's people in there, and it said it was going to make me rich, but there's people bragging about making $2,000. If you pay $49 to join something, and you make $2,000, that's a good investment. So why is that? Why would you make a hit piece saying Tate takes $50 and teaches people how to make $2,000? He's a scammer.
Contrary to what Andrew wants you to think, Hustlers University is built on the idea of selling impressionable fans a dream of getting rich quickly and emotionally degrading them to stay a member. As bad as that sounds, Andrew is about to employ some even more dubious methods to extract every penny from his audience. By the 21st of August 2024, Andrew would rebrand Hustlers University as Tate's Real World and announce an expansion to it dubbed Planet T, which promised even better financial opportunities for members. With a tweet reading, the founding members will be using the artificial intelligence techniques taught inside Hustlers University to build a planet which has everything Earth is missing. Prepare your imagination. Similar to his previous grifts, Andrew would use his eccentric persona to promise viewers the world and shame them into joining the scheme as quote founding members.
Own a percentage of all the currency on the planet, and maybe a small percent, but you still own some. And inside of our new reality which we are building, you will also have a chance to own a percentage of the planet. You will literally own the future. When we teach you how to use AI in Hustlers University, it's not only so you can earn money here on Earth, it's also so you can build and construct a new future which you will literally own a percentage of. And it is Hustlers University students, these founding members, which help us build this reality, which will cement themselves as legends into eternity.
As you'd imagine, Planet T was nothing more than smoke and mirrors, as the program was never fully released and was only a marketing tactic to increase memberships, a fact that was confirmed by one of the mentors in Andrew's program.
Next question. What is Planet T? Please explain. Jeez, it's marketing. What else is it? It is marketing. That is what it is, jeez. Come on, get your shit together. Next question!
The YouTuber Gadget would upload a video covering the situation and share some of the negative feedback from former members of the Real World.
One former member of the Real World said this about his experience promoting Planet T. Planet T is bullshit anyways. You can't even access the whole campus unless you have been inside for months and have made X amount of money. They basically come up with shit and then tell us to sell it based off words, not actual product or campus.
In addition to this, Gadget would present a statement from another high-ranking promoter that revealed how much of a negative impact this type of marketing was having on young men.
Once this new campaign was launched, we were given that information on the same day. I was very confused on what it was about. I found the sales emails, video, etc. we had been given by the team very cringe and childish. I decided not to promote it based on mystery and excitement and just wait out till the final day to see what it was actually about. Even on this day, I was super confused because no extra info was given and we were tasked to basically promote it as the next big gold rush, the next big thing. Like a new bull run, using FOMO and excitement. Of course, this is marketing, but by seeing all the resources we got, I looked at it and realized these are just pure lies, false promises. Knowing Tate's audience are mostly vulnerable males who don't have a lot of money spending their last penny on this, I could not sell it on my accounts. I remember a man who was in my DMs saying he'll either pay his rent or delay it next month to buy the real world subscription. After he joined, he sent me another DM saying, "Is this it?" and left the convo. I felt horrible.
By the start of 2024, Andrew would expand his schemes beyond AI and into the realm of crypto, a product he once condemned and claimed was for quote degenerates.
Are you going to launch your own crypto?
No, I'm never going to launch a crypto. I just like to with crypto Twitter. Because crypto Twitter are full of the biggest degenerate losers on the planet. They're losers. Crypto is the only scenario I can think of where you can make a whole bunch of money while benefiting society zero.
Taking things further, Andrew would virtual signal on Twitter about not being like other influencers who scam their fans and how it would never promote cryptocurrencies. With a tweet that read, "I do not endorse shitcoins. I am not a scammer like every other quote influencer. I don't need to rob my fans. I do not have anything to do with any crypto." However, in typical Tate fashion, Andrew would go against these claims and began hinting at promoting crypto in his membership program.
Imagine I were to put together, this is an imaginary project, people, something like this. Let's imagine I were to partner with billionaires for instant liquidity. Let's imagine staking happened very shortly after launch so that you could make money forever. So it's an investment. Let's imagine I airdropped it to the students of the real world, because why would I not make my students richer than everybody else? Imagine there was an airdrop to the real world students.
Andrew would even go as far as claiming he'd link it to his membership platform to benefit his most dedicated followers and early adopters.
What I think we should do is we should link the amount of tokens you get in an airdrop to your status within the real world. Members of the council will get the most. You can join the council via the courses tab. Because you know, the day this imaginary project comes true, you will be rewarded for all of that hard work in cold, hard cash. Of course, once this project went live, everyone inside of the real world, 200,000 people, are going to be trying to pump it. Imagine that, along with all the advertising I'd be doing on a worldwide tour. I really truly believe it would be the biggest crypto project in history.
By June 2024, Andrew would go through with his hypothetical plan and started promoting the coin Daddy with a tweet that read, "I am the Daddy, 200 mil market cap. I'm going to burn all of this shit live on Rumble. My last burn was $37 million, but now I refuse to burn less than $100 million. No brokey burns, top G, built different." As with all of Andrew's previous projects, he would try to psychologically manipulate viewers by presenting his membership as the easiest and fastest way to capitalize on crypto.
And if you wanted to know when to buy and sell, you needed to pay the $49.99 a month to join.
World, my power is unmatched. Crypto is mine. The world is mine. I'm gonna come back bigger and better and more insane than ever before. And you have to ask yourself a question. Do you want to know what I'm gonna do before I do it? Do you have any concept of how much money is in tomorrow's news? I'm going to ensure that only the people inside of my school, the real world, .com know what I'm going to do before I do it, so they can permanently win.
Even though Andrew was trying to frame this as a golden opportunity for his fans, it wasn't long before the crypto community noticed some suspicious activity, with a tweet from Bubble Maps that read, "Insiders bought 30% of the supply at launch, before Andrew Tate started to promote it on X, and are currently sitting on 45+ mil. Unfortunately for Andrew, it was only a matter of time before his crypto schemes put him on the radar of the man he feared the most, CoffeeZilla. By the 16th of October 2024, Andrew would leak an email from CoffeeZilla on Twitter that contained some benign questions about his recent crypto promotions, with the email reading, "Hey Andrew, I'm reaching out for comment as I have a story about your crypto endorsements coming out. Last year, you said you do not endorse shitcoins. You've also claimed you do not have anything to do with any crypto. What changed? How much were you and your brother paid to promote/talk about Roostcoin? Are you aware the Roostcoin you and your brother promoted has been hacked to the detriment of holders? How much were you and your brother paid to promote/talk about Venom blockchain? You've said, quote, SEC come for me. There's no SEC in Romania. We're scammers. Now you say you're trying to get TRW token regulated under SEC law? What changed? Are you planning to sell to US investors?" Feeling threatened by the possibility of a CoffeeZilla investigation, Andrew would go on an aggressive rant to downplay the case against him.
CoffeeZilla is a... This is my statement to you, CoffeeZilla. You're a I guarantee I drink more coffee than you, meaning you're a fraud to begin with. You're doing this little breakdown, this investigation. You just emailed me in a tone saying, oh, I want to ask questions about this coin, this coin. You really think you're going to do a investigation into the fact that meme coin prices go up and down and all the and the real trenches are going to agree with you? Of course they go up and fucking down. It's meme coins. Nobody cares. I'm not Logan Paul. I'm not somebody who is already hated and everyone's looking for a reason to jump on the bandwagon. I'm built different. I'm loved. Nobody likes you. Nobody's scared of your fucking investigation. Your emails sound gay.
Andrew would even go as far as encouraging his audience to harass CoffeeZilla through the leaked email address.
Every single person who can show me they have emailed CoffeeZilla and called him gay, I will buy daddy. And for every single dislike on his upcoming bullshit expose, I'll buy more daddy. Every single thumbs down, every single email to this pussy ass DNG results in me buying daddy coin and inflating the price to the moon. We're gonna win. CoffeeZilla's broke. Don't fuck with Tate. I'm built different. That's my statement.
By the 19th of October 2024, Andrew's worst nightmares were realized, with a video from CoffeeZilla titled, Exposing Andrew Tate's Crypto Grift.
Crypto is the only scenario I can think of where you can make a whole bunch of money while benefiting society zero.
Well, there you have it. I mean, I can apologize. I can admit when I'm wrong. Clearly, it was a joke. Tate would never actually scam people with a coin. Oh, turns out he did. Multiple times. And now is planning to launch a coin if you stay subscribed to his Get Rich Quick scheme. So we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to investigate it.
After a brief overview of the Tate's rise to fame and escalating legal battles, CoffeeZilla would highlight Andrew's frequent pattern of hypocrisy in his stance on things like adult entertainment.
But watch for a second how Andrew Tate, a guy who made his money running webcams, now talks about the entertainment business while wearing a turtleneck.
Let's accept pornography is bad for a society. Let's accept that to be a fact.
It is
and
a
it
fact.
is true. Okay,
Yeah.
why are they trying to destroy the society? Who are these people? What is their end goal? Is their end goal the of children? Is their end goal 12-year-olds to sit there and watch and want to have sex?
I mean, the balls to say, what are they up to? What do you think their goal is? Bro, you are they. If there was a cabal, you're part of it. You admit to making millions of dollars, making the kind of stuff you're now claiming is ruining the youth.
This two-faced attitude would carry over to other things Andrew used to look down on until they became profitable.
My problem with crypto is that it instigated a culture which I didn't like. I didn't like the crypto culture as a whole because the culture was based on getting in early, which, I mean, I guess you could argue is a skill, but to a degree is luck. Gambling, rug pulls, staying anon, hiding like a little coward in a hole, like a little bitch, and just being a degen, laughing about how you're a Once I decided I was going to fix it, I decided I had to come up with an idea that allowed people to make money from the things they should make money from.
CoffeeZilla would then go on to put out how the only thing Andrew was doing for the crypto community was using his audience to fill endless streams of rug pulls.
We're gonna look at the coins that Andrew and his brother promoted, see what kind of fixing they got up to. Starting with Roost. Honestly, this is your textbook Ponzi coin, exactly the type of thing Tate would call a scam a year ago, but now he and his brother heavily promoted it over multiple videos. They even had flyers in their videos. And of course, during the promotion, the price did well. But when it was over, Roost is now down over 90%. Not only that, Roost's treasury wallet got hacked. So the community literally got scammed. And to make it worse, the guy who got hacked was anonymous. So remind me what Andrew Tate doesn't like about crypto again?
In addition to this, CoffeeZilla gives examples of Andrew actively looking for coins to promote.
You can also look at the time Tate got exposed for trying to get Barron Trump to let him buy Donald Trump tokens at a lower price. In exchange, he'd pump it. So much for not owning coins, I guess.
As well as instances of Andrew pumping networks he knew were going to fail.
That was brought to my attention by Zach XBT, who also pointed out that Tate promoted something called Venom Blockchain. His brother talked about it on a live stream.
Bitcoin, ETH, exciting stuff like Venom Network.
And of course, that price is down as well. Tate also promoted F Madonna token. And of course, that ended badly too. This stuff is such garbage. Here's another one of Tate's coins, which is down over 90% as well. Or you can look at this coin, Daddy token. You know, which makes sense given that Tate is sick of crypto being infantile, childish, and degenerate.
However, none of those pump and dumps compared to the coin Andrew had created and was trying to link to his monthly membership course.
But now the new angle is this real-world token. Tate is promising a crypto airdrop to people who subscribe and stay subscribed to his monthly Get Rich Quick course.
It's also very important for you people who think you can join for a month and quit the real world and just go back to being a nobody. No. You have to stay inside to increase your rank, to get your power level. Because if you quit and then you rejoin, you lose all your power points. So why would you lose all your power points to save $49? It doesn't even make sense.
Okay, so Tate's new plan is that you buy a get-rich-quick course, gain power points, you have to stay subscribed to keep your power points, and then they say they will pay you a percentage that their school makes.
The goal is that you can buy the token and own a percentage of the school. So imagine you sign up for the real world, you start to make money, you focus on your tasks, then you can invest that money in the real world token and get paid every single month a monthly dividend from the profits of the school.
It was becoming obvious that Andrew's previous methods of manipulation weren't very effective in keeping members subscribed. After all, you can only make false promises and lie to people for so long. Naturally, Andrew had to pivot to something new, a pyramid scheme.
I think I get it. So you got the people at the bottom, they're paying up into the course, into the school. Then you got the people higher with higher power levels. They're making money from people at the bottom with the coin. And then all that money flows up. It's just kind of this nice little pyramid scheme. Come to think of it, it is a little surprising that Tate claims to be working hand in hand with the SEC on this.
I am working with the SEC so that the real world token can be launched as a security.
Now, maybe that is all true, but maybe Tate actually has another plan.
SEC, come from me. I'm in Romania. There ain't no SEC in Romania. We're scammers. We're out here doing what we want. I'm gonna pump a coin up.
To illustrate how much sway Andrew's tales of easy money had over his audience, CoffeeZilla would showcase some of the desperate emails he had received from Tate fans.
Let me just see if I get the plan right here. The plan is dislike and call someone gay, so the alpha male you like buys daddy coins for you. Got it. 800 emails later, a word cloud of Tate's war room will give you a sense of who these guys are. But I'll also share this email I got. It's not personal, Coffee Breaks. I really want Andrew to raise the price of Daddy's coin. And he says he's gonna pump money into the coin. Trust me, it's nothing personal, but I bought a lot of the coin and I have to do this, so please forgive me. I mean, you can almost smell the desperation. Get rich quick by hurling slurs at a journalist.
While CoffeeZilla's investigation had exposed Andrew's shady crypto deals to the wider online world, there were still people who bought into his lies if it meant they could get rich too. Around the time that the expose video went live, Andrew held a Lamborghini giveaway to increase the hype around the release of the real world token.
It's the real world token. We're not gonna have some scam coin trying to hide from the SEC. No, we're going at the SEC. We're gonna try and get full SEC approval so we can launch a security so I can share the profits of the online school with all of the students. We'll be a public company. We're going public. It's going to be beautiful. You'll be able to buy the token of the real world, be a student of the real world, and get paid every single month from the token. Completely legit, above board, taxes paid, everything. I've got a legal call with the SEC. Then I'm going to come back on here. I'm going to give away a Lamborghini. I'm going to give away some cash. It's October. We're going to have a fantastic time. And when that's all done, I'm going to do an unfair advantage and tell all the students inside the real world the new cars I'm going to give away, the new upcoming giveaways, all the new things, so they can be excited. What a fantastic day in the life of the top G.
When the time came to announce the winner, Andrew called out someone who was already near the site of the giveaway instead of a random viewer.
How you doing, sir? Are you Justin?
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
Are you fucking serious?
Are
you fucking serious right now?
It's Justin watching the stream.
Maybe. Oh my god, bro, are you fucking kidding me? Dude, oh my god!
Nice to meet you. Follow me this way. Follow me.
Oh my god, I can't fucking believe this! Oh my god, I'm watching this.
How did we lure him there? I don't know if the secret's been given away yet.
Oh my god, dude!
You're live on the stream right now, by the way. Come on, follow
me. Hi everybody, hi real world.
However, it becomes apparent that the giveaway was staged when you realize Andrew stated the winner hadn't been selected only a few minutes prior.
Guys, you still have a chance to win the Lamborghini. I'm gonna give you all 5 more minutes to join the real world before we do the final draw. You have 5 minutes.
You have 5 to 10 minutes to join the real world, have a chance to win the Trump Lambo. Play the Trump Lambo.
Even though the giveaway was clearly fake, not many people saw through Andrew's lies, as a live stream received an overwhelmingly positive response from fans, with a commenter stating, "I'm very happy for this guy. I hope he can prosper and afford to keep maintenance for that car. I'm frustrated that Twitter has no employees to respond to me getting locked out of my account so that I couldn't repost Andrew Tate's tweet. I'm also not able to afford daddy meme currency." At this point, lying to his audience was second nature for Andrew, and he knew he could get away with it as long as he had a new dream to sell them. Whether it is by selling them on the idea of quick cash with crypto or promising a new shiny Lamborghini, Andrew was willing to do anything to keep people in the real world. Sadly, one can only hope that his members wake up and escape the matrix that Andrew had built around them. If you enjoyed this video, YouTube recommends you click the video on screen now.